Violence Against Women Act, the GOP hopes their new No Punch Pretty Lady bill will finally help the party appeal to female voters.
No punch, no rape. Pass law. Women give big smiles at us again. Big votes.
Among its statutes, the bill would introduce harsher penalties for putting fists to women's face and proposes that if ladies smell nice like flowers, no smash lady.
And what if Pretty Lady Al-Qaeda? What if she death panel? What if she Benghazi? Yes, in some cases, punch lady.
In addition to increasing funding to shelters for crying ladies hurt from doing sex with bad guys, the bill also includes a clause complimenting the nation's women for losing weight.
And in other headlines, Lady Gaga kidnaps Commissioner Gordon. A man who likes to move it is still searching for the perfect song. And Rod Stewart is mistaken for an elderly aunt.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here, and you can join us on the radio waves. You can bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark, that number will put you on the number 29. Most important radio program in America.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Talkers Heavy 100 list came out today, and they always it's got to be a real task putting this list together.
Yes.
It's been pushed back
Thankless.
year after year. It used to come out in February. Like every year they push it back. So it's more like every 14 or 15 months.
Yeah, well.
But, still, it's a great list, and the folks over at Talkers Magazine have included us on it for several years, 7, 8 years, something like that now, quite a few years. And we've moved up, what did we start, 97, I think?
I think we started at number 98, I think.
98, yeah, and then, slowly moving down the list down to number 29, as you pointed out here, so in the top 30. And that's not based on any metrics necessarily.
It's based on some metrics. So they do take metrics like listenership.
They take that into account.
What they consider it though is they use the terminology important for a reason.
The 100 most important talk shows or talk show hosts in America.
Right, and they list Ian and I on it. But what they're they take a bunch of different things, like, are you doing something groundbreaking? Is your show unique? Those kind of things. Alex Jones jumped on this list this year. He's up to number 26.
We used to be ahead of him, right?
Yeah, we were ahead, and we have more radio stations than Alex has.
Right.
But Alex has a huge internet following, and I think it's arguable that he had some role in getting a president elected this year.
I think you could argue that he certainly had an influence on that.
Yeah. So. I think that it's well-deserved, his jump, and
good for him.
Good for him, good for us, good for everybody, right?
Yep, so thanks for mentioning that, Mark. That's good news for us. But in other good news, well, sort of, it's been an up and down day for Bitcoin. We talked about that a couple days ago here on the show, and how it's just been rising meteorically over the last several weeks, if not last few months. And today it peaked out at around $2,230 per Bitcoin, and then within the last 3 hours has crashed down about $200. So right before we started the show, it was at around $2,000 per Bitcoin. It has jumped up a little bit more to $2,060 at the moment. So very just an interesting day in the Bitcoin realm. Some people are surely freaking out and selling. Others, others are celebrating Pizza Day. It's Bitcoin Pizza Day today, which is apparently back in 2010. Somebody bought 2 pizzas from another Bitcoiner. So they didn't buy it from a
pizza place,
Domino's or some pizza place or whatever.
Well, it was Domino's Pizza, as I understand it.
Was it Domino's?
I believe it was.
Okay, well, whatever it was, what happened was someone who was a Bitcoiner purchased with their credit card or whatever the pizza, and then another Bitcoiner paid that person in Bitcoin for the pizzas.
Yes.
And it was 10,000 Bitcoin is what 2 large pizzas cost in 2010. And here we are now in 2017.
So 5,000 Bitcoin per pizza, meaning that a Bitcoin was worth, what was that?
A few cents. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very little.
It's very little. Now, if you were to spend 10,000 Bitcoins at 2,064, let's see, that is $20.6 million.
It's a lot of money.
So I hope the person who sold those pizzas held on to that 10,000 Bitcoin, because he or she is doing very, very well today, if that's the case.
Daryl W. Perry, our illustrious producer, remote producer, says they were produced. They were made by Papa John's.
Papa John's
pizzas.
Papa John's. But again, they didn't get a cut of it, so too bad for Papa John's.
Well, if they'd have been accepting Bitcoin.
Right, which would have been difficult at that time.
I do know of a business that does accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for their product, and that is Free Talk Live. As a matter of fact,
that's right, yeah.
We get a majority of our revenue in ccrypto. Here.
Yeah, if you're looking to get rid of that Bitcoin, just, let us know.
If you're looking for more business, we know how to advertise it.
There you go. But some people went out to actually celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day today, and that happened here in Keene. I understand that Manchester, New Hampshire is going to be doing one this evening, like right around now. In Manchester is a place that takes Bitcoin that actually sells pizza, and in Keene we have a little place called Little Zoe's that actually makes pizzas that they don't cook for you. So they make the pie, you get the pizza, you take it home, you put it in your own oven, and then you cook it at home. And so that's what we did. We had kind of like a little Bitcoin Pizza Day party where several of the local area Bitcoiners, we all went down to the pizza shop, Little Zoe's, kind of hung out there for an hour while all these pizzas, we had I think 4 pizzas made. And then we went over to Chris's house, our Friday night co-host from thinkpenguin.com, and had a nice little pizza party in celebration of Bitcoin Pizza Day. So that was cool. You can join us here tonight. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Let's go to the phones and to the fun. He's Scott in Massachusetts. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead, Scott.
Good evening, Marky and Melanie.
It's Scott the Bigot. Welcome back to the show.
A.K.A. Scott Nazi, Scott the Nazi, Scott the Anti-Semite.
We didn't call you that.
Yeah,
we didn't.
No, but other places.
Nazi's a term that's thrown around a little too wildly, but I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know if you're a socialist. I don't know enough about your politics because normally I think you're kind of like a righty, right?
I hate not Democrats and Republicans.
You do? Okay.
But the reason why I'm calling is twofold. Number one, I'd just like to let everyone know that today is a milestone. On May 22nd, 1920, Henry Ford issued The International Jew, which was published in 91 consecutive weeks. And you could get it in a bookstore or in today's modern age, get it on the Internet.
Was Ford a bigot too? I don't know enough about him.
Henry Ford, they claim, is a nut job, a kook, but the man was a genius, and he didn't have any formal education. He tinkered with watches, and the rest is history. He started the Ford Motor Company, and the man was a genius. And anyway,
well, I don't think that being a genius and being a kook is mutually exclusive. I've worked with a guy for many, many years, and I'm certain that it's true.
But he launched his paper today. 97 years ago, and
what was the thrust of that paper? Is this an ongoing publication? You're saying like an actual newspaper?
Every week he would expose the Jews on another thing. For example, the control of the bootlicker business, or they invented communism.
The bootlicker,
or how they degraded baseball.
Oh.
You'd have to read
it. The Jews degraded baseball?
Yeah, he had all kinds of different. Every was a new article. Jewish jazz is for morons. Everything he touched upon. But
now, isn't it possible, Scott, before you go on here, that Jewish people are individuals and they don't all believe the same thing, and that not all Jewish people are trying to take over the world?
No, that's true. But
wait, so that's true? You said no first, and then you said that's true. What part was true?
Say that again.
You said no first, but then you said that's true. So which part was true?
I take them collectively, Jewry.
Yeah,
and I see a problem in America today.
Yeah, so that's why you're a bigot.
Since now it's been some time since you used to call in like 5 years ago.
Yeah, he just started calling back. I think this weekend.
And I have something to reveal. You know how we used to ask you what would happen if you took one of those 23andMe tests, a DNA test, you found out if you were Jewish?
Yeah.
I took one, and it turns out that I have a Jew in my background, and it happens to be on my maternal side. It's the far maternal DNA. Now, this is like less than 1% of my blood, but I can claim to be Jewish simply because of the placement in my lineage. But what percentage, because I'm certain that Ashkenazi Jews tend to be somewhat diluted, what percentage of Jew does one have to be sort of part of Jewry?
Hold that thought, Scott. I want to get the answer from you here. Stand by. We'll bring you back more with Scott the Bigot. And it's been a long time since he's called the show, so maybe you've been one. A lot of people have asked, "Where's Scott the Bigot?"
They have.
If you want to call and maybe ask him a question, you can do that. 855-450-FREE. He hates people based on the groups that they're in. That's why he's a bigot. We'll continue. It's Free Talk Live.
Warning. If you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears. Because there's an alternative to bankruptcy, and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now, 1-800-660-1581. That's 1-800-660-1581. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want right here, toll free. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight here on Bitcoin Pizza Day, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And speaking of Bitcoin, we need to tell you about Bitcoin.com. It's the most unique online destination in the Bitcoin universe. If you're buying Bitcoin, you can do it through Bitcoin.com. You can learn more about Bitcoin. Maybe you're brand new to it. It's a great place to start. Maybe you want to speak your mind to other Bitcoin users. They've got a forum, and it's always open and censorship-free at forum.bitcoin.com. There are no bigger Bitcoin believers than the Bitcoin.com team. And that's why Bitcoin.com is a one-stop shop for everything you need to get into Bitcoin life. You can also play games with your Bitcoin at games.bitcoin.com, so you can learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. As we continue here, back to Scott in Massachusetts. Now, Mark, you had asked Scott a question right before we went away there for a moment. You had asked him about your personal DNA test that you had done from the 23andMe company, and they show that you do have at least one relative in your past who was Jewish.
Yeah, way back.
And so you had asked Scott the question. Scott is the bigoted caller who had made himself famous or infamous by calling Free Talk Live many years ago, and he just returned to calling us again this weekend. After 5 years? How long was it? 5 years, Scott? How long had it been?
Yeah,
do you know?
5 years.
About 5 years. It's amazing. Time flies.
Went off the grid.
Yeah, and being at your mom's house doesn't count as
No, not at all. Let me tell you something about Mama's boys. Adolf Hitler was a Mama's boy. He changed the world. And answering your question, go on.
Hold on. Okay,
yeah, go on.
So when you get loud, your phone gets really distorted, and it's not good.
I'll speak a little, keep my voice down.
Yeah, we'll just turn you up on this end a little bit. So anyway, so go ahead and answer Mark's question. It was about how much Jewishness does somebody have to have in their blood in order to count as, was it an international Jew or
whatever? I'm just Jewry? When one separates people based on genetics, it gets...
Under the Nuremberg laws in Germany in 1935 that were passed in September 1935, Adolf Hitler said in the Nazi Party that if you had if you were Jewish on your mother's side, you were Jewish, but if you were Jewish on your father's side, you were a Christian. So and they even said that Hitler himself had a Jewish grandparent, a Jewish grandmother, that is. So that did not stop him for the great things that he did in the world. And
that's a sick thing to say.
What are those great things that you're referring to?
But what are those great things?
Yeah.
He changed world history for the better. He tried to fight for the white Aryan race. He knew that Jewry was a threat to the Aryan.
Now, do you at least admit, Scott, that Adolf Hitler murdered people, that he had men, mass slaughter and murder millions of people? Do you
was
admit
fighting
that?
in the name of the fatherland.
But you admit that happened, right? Like, you're not a denier, are you?
The Jews have fabricated the Holocaust to gain worldwide sympathy. That's one of the major reasons that the State of Israel was built.
Now, the
billions and billions on German reparations that was paid to the Zionist entity.
Okay, all right. Let me see if I'm following you. So, Scott, so you don't think the Holocaust happened, or it didn't happen to the extent that it's reported to have happened, or
it
what?
Could have happened to some extent, but not 6 million Jews. That number was fabricated.
How many million? Hundreds of thousands? Millions? I mean, how many?
It could have been 100,000.
Okay, so you do admit that at the very least, it's some number that Hitler did have Jewish people exterminated.
He may have shot them, deported them, but to answer your question, massive camps where they went up the chimney, so to speak. No. That did not.
So
but
you deny
I don't mean to throw you
all
off. Could I read you the short little thing of why America is in the trouble it's in?
I just want to make sure I'm clear on something. So you deny that the gas chambers and ovens and all of that. You deny that those physical things that have been proven in reality to exist. You deny that those were used or that those exist or what?
Let me answer this.
You deny the stories from the guards because it's not just.
It was Poles, Russians,
blacks,
Slavs, homosexuals. You would think that the Jews were the only victims.
No. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's true that they targeted a lot of people besides just Jewish people.
Swing dancers, I've heard.
I think it's important to point that out. So you are admitting that there was a massive extermination campaign against more than just Jewish people, against people that Hitler didn't like.
I would say that he used it for the war effort, but to answer your question,
he wasn't
I'm not
killing
trying to
soldiers.
back away from it.
He wasn't
per se. You asked me a question: did 6 million Jews die in the Holocaust? No. The number was far less. I would say.
Now, would you have liked to have seen 6 million?
How can I answer? But it certainly was not 6 million. That was a fabricated figure.
Now, would you have liked to have seen more people murdered in the Holocaust?
This is what I would like to see.
Okay.
I would like to see an America that is free of Jewish influence. And I wrote a little thing here, especially for you, if I may read it, and then I could go if you'd let me read it. It's not very long.
Let me give my wish, too, just so that we understand where we're coming from.
Yeah.
I wish that FDR wasn't such a stinking bigot and had taken all those Jews that were attempting to flee Nazi Germany and its conquered territories and let them come here, because Israel rose from nothing, really. I mean, there wasn't much there, and now it is a very, very wealthy and successful place. And that could be the United States. And that's a terrible thing that was lost, that we lost out on. Go ahead.
This won't take long. Thank you. And by the way, you're very kind to let me speak on your show. I won't. I know you've got other callers, so I'll make it short and sweet. The American people are morons because they do not understand what is going on, nor do they care. As long as they have their bread and circus, baseball, football, NASCAR, Jack Daniels, McDonald's, Walmart's, color TVs, cell phones, etc., they are fat, dumb, and happy. Meanwhile, Rome burns. Americans think that there is a difference between Democrats and Republicans. There is no difference. Democrats and Republicans merely put on a show for their constituents whom they laugh at and consider morons. The true power behind the throne consists of Goldman Sachs and all the other evil international Jewish bankers on Wall Street. Michael Bloomberg controls much of the news that Americans consume. That news is garbage. Steven Spielberg controls Hollywood and is responsible for all the filth your children watch on TV and in the movies.
It's a ridiculous statement that Steven Spielberg controls Hollywood. He's just one producer.
All right. AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, has hijacked American foreign policy and is responsible for American involvement in the Middle East.
That's it?
We get deeper into it the United States gets deeper into it every day. George Soros is the evil international Jewish banker and fifth columnist who is determined to turn America into a communist nation.
All right. That's enough for now. If you got more, you can call another night. Hey, Scott,
another night.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate hearing from you. And, to blame all of America's problems. I agreed with the first couple sentences of what he said, like the Democrats and the Republicans are the same and, all that, until the bigotry came in. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up whatever you want. And this is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Being self-reliant is about being prepared and to do what you need to have your own source of renewable energy. Portable Solar LLC offers the most powerful EMP-hardened solar system on the market that is transportable from place to place, and the best part, it's very affordable. Contact them at portablesolarllc.com or call for details at 972-575-8875. Sol Arc EMP-hardened solar generator energy insurance for your family or business. Call Portable Solar LLC today or go to portablesolarllc.com to check out their patent-pending technology.
Free Talk Live.
There's going to be no food by February.
Oh, that seems a little extreme. I find that hard to believe.
Well, watch it happen. Hope you find Christ.
Oh, good luck, buddy. Thanks.
What really turned me away from religion was the fact that most of them are so intolerant and nasty.
What do you
Your
mean?
life will suck unless you find Jesus. Well, I had Jesus a long time ago, and he didn't really do anything for me, so I got away from that.
Right, and I can tell you that if you want to have that attitude with people, like,
Good
well,
luck
you better find Christ, or you're going to burn in hell.
Yeah.
Then you know.
Good luck converting people.
Yeah, I really want to hang out with people like you, there, Keith. I really want to hang out with people like you. So I'm sorry to those good Christians out there listening that aren't like Keith. But it's the loudmouths like Keith that do real damage to your religion and how people feel about it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait on the count. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free, bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And with you tonight in the studio, you've got Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Coming up, by the way, a very kind of sick story about... You've heard of the what is it, Amber Alerts?
Yes.
Where there's like a missing child and they send out like a news update, and radio stations, a lot of them broadcast it. Well, now there's going to be a blue alert. Now, what do you think the blue alert stands for?
A police officer has been hurt?
We'll get into it coming up here in moments. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Skype username is LRN.FM. And this afternoon at the Bitcoin Pizza Day, which I mentioned at the beginning of the show, where some of the local area Bitcoiners went to a little pizza shop here in Keene called Little Zoe's that takes Bitcoin. We bought a bunch of pizzas, and then went back to somebody else's house and had a kind of like a little pizza party to celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day, where back in 2010, the very first ever physical product was purchased with Bitcoin. And in the midst of all of this buying, one of the people who was there wanted to spend Dash on the pizza. Now, unfortunately, the person who runs the pizza shop wasn't able to take Dash, but I can take Dash. So I received Dash from the person who wanted to spend the Dash, and then I gave the pizza shop owner Bitcoin at that point, because I'm actually looking to get some Dash, because Dash is pretty neat stuff. It's actually digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low, which is another reason to want to spend Dash, because the Bitcoin fees are crazy at the moment. They've gone insane. And Dash isn't even close to what Bitcoin charges. They're just a fraction of a penny from what I've seen. Anyway, fees are low and transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized. It's run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and making governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. Join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. You can find out more at dash.org, and there's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now, so go to dash.org and find out why. And one of the reasons why, in my opinion, is this sort of the governance structure that they've set up to have the Dashers run the whole Dash system, basically. It's something that I've never seen before in another cryptocurrency. And it's clearly working very well. It's one of the reasons why they have this sort of built-in marketing budget with Dash that other cryptocurrencies don't seem to have. And one of the things that they're doing, is from what I understand, is some of that money is going to development as well. So it's not just marketing, it's not just buying advertising, but it's also developing like the technology that would be needed to make Dash more popular. Because obviously Bitcoin's got that installed user base, it's got point of sale systems and things like that. But with Dash, what they're working on right now is a point of sale system. There are people who have gotten the funding from the Dash, what do they call it? The kitty? I'm not sure what the name of it is, where they store that 10% or whatever. There's a certain.
I probably should look into that and find out exactly what that name is. But
there's probably a name for it. I don't know. But whatever the store of promotional funds is.
One of the great things about Dash is Dash takes 10% of the fees, sort of that they get for, transferring money and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They're small, but there's a lot of these transactions. They take 10% of that and they put it towards development, marketing, and all kinds of projects. And this is what, for me, I realized this is the killer app.
Yeah, it's great. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Dash comes up with for point-of-sale systems, because I want to give the businesses in the Keene area another option. I don't want to be hamstrung, held hostage, basically, in Bitcoin. I mean, it's sad, but there needs to be something else, and Dash seems to be that something else as far as real-life use of cryptocurrency.
Today I diversified.
Really?
Yeah.
You sold off some Bitcoin?
I did.
Hopefully you sold it at the peak.
I did.
You lucked out.
I'm nervous, I've got to say. So
yeah. Well, it just dropped $200 today, so I'm sure that's making people nervous too.
Now it's back up half that.
So go to dash.org, learn more about Dash as we continue with your calls and thoughts. It's Ian, Melanie, and Mark in the studio. David is on the line in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, David.
Yeah, hey guys. I wanted to take a moment to, like I said yesterday, yesterday was the day before. Today is my son David's 13th birthday. I last saw him on a birthday or at all, had any contact on his when he was 3, and this was due to the court system, the custody. I just wanted to share some of the real effects of what our courts are doing. So I never saw. I was the primary caretaker of my children while I was together. We were still together before I got pushed out. So I wasn't just somebody who impregnated somebody. I was the primary caretaker at that time. They were both still in diapers, and one had not walked. Paisley had not even walked nor talked. So I I never saw her walk. I never heard a word, an intelligible word from her. My son had some ear problems, and so he was behind on his speech as well. So I never heard a true statement from him. You could interpret what he was trying to say, and obviously I never saw anything else that comes after that from the infant and toddler to one is 11, and today David is 13. Another effect. My mother, my children's grandmother, has never met her grandchildren, nor have the grandchildren ever met her. My grandmother, never, same thing, and she has now died as of recently in the last couple of years here. So that's a relationship that never can be caught up on. And as you might guess, or some people might know, children, it's hard to get children interested in parents and grandparents a lot of the time, but if they have never met somebody and they get into their teenage years and they have never met them, they typically don't have a whole lot of interest in then beginning any sort of a meaningful relationship. And so what this, and this includes so that what this does is it permanently alters in most cases the relationship, whatever it may be, if anything, for the rest of your life, from my end of it and from the children's end of it. So people out there that have some experience with children can see all of the different things that have just been completely destroyed in a situation like this. And I just wanted to share that food for thought on to commemorate my son's birthday.
Yeah, it is a destructive, tragic system that very frequently involves somebody getting victimized or screwed over. And it is, there have been so many stories that we've heard over the years of men and women in similar situations as you.
Mostly men.
Mostly men, though. Hey, thank you, David, for the call tonight.
Thank you.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's right. I think he makes a good point that even if dad's a deadbeat or whatever, maybe the grandparents aren't or whatever. And they don't get the chance either.
Yeah. So being a parent, the one thing I've realized is the most important thing to me. Now, look, I never intended to be a parent. It was not my intention. My wife.
Well, that's how most people get there.
That's probably true.
It wasn't a mistake, though.
I know, but it's still how most people get there.
In my case, I was practically put in a submission hold. But
that would be unusual.
That's unusual.
I think that's pretty usual. It's just less honest about the way most women go about the same thing.
I see. You're saying the other women are less honest. That Laura, his wife, wasn't less honest.
Yeah, his wife was straight up. Was like, I want a kid. If not, see ya. Most women, birth control does not fail at the rate that it is claimed to. That's all I'm saying.
All right, we're going to continue here. Mark, I don't know where you're going with that, but we can do that here in a moment.
Kids are the most valuable thing you got.
There you go. The National Blue Alert Network is coming online. We'll tell you what that means coming up here in moments, and you can also take control of the airwaves. 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, this is Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Get started at Dash.org. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. Join Dash and help us create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org and get your own Dash wallet today. That's Dash.org.
Hey, diabetics. Yeah, you. Got a spare hour to waste going to the pharmacy to get your insulin or other meds and supplies every month? I didn't think so. Me either. I've got life going on, which is why I use PillPack. PillPack is an amazing online pharmacy. They package up all my diabetic meds and testing supplies into daily doses and send it to me every month, automatically. All I do is pay my normal copay. PillPack does the rest. I'm serious. This is a free service. They don't even charge for shipping. PillPack handles all the medical insurance stuff and even get with my doctors for my other prescriptions so I don't have to, which is good because that's the stuff I forget. But PillPack remembers everything. They even package up my daily vitamins so I remember to take them too. If you're diabetic, your meds and supplies are life and death, which means you need PillPack. Call right now for this free service. You may even qualify for $25 in free vitamins. 800-560-7310. That's 800-560-7310. Again, 800-560-7310.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. Hydrocare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfide, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free, bring up anything you want here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. If you enjoy Free Talk Live and you want to help us out and help yourself at the same time, you can go to saveatpurse.com. And you can buy stuff with your Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies through saveatpurse.com. And you can save on your purchases at Amazon. You can save 20% easily on pretty much whatever you want to buy. Or if you want to save more, you can try for more. You can also get less. You decide the discount. You set your discount rate at saveatpurse.com. The higher it is, the longer it might take to fulfill your purchase. But it works well, and I do it all the time. I've done it more than 80 times in a 2+ year time span. So I'm a huge fan of saveatpurse.com.
We've done it quite a bit at my house too, but I think we pale in comparison to yours.
Saveatpurse.com. Go and check that out. And Free Talk Live gets a very small portion of your purchases if you go through saveatpurse.com. It's Ian, Melanie, and Mark in the studio here tonight. Still to come, we've got Melanie. You want to talk about a cop who had a rape conviction overturned. You'll tell us why that happened coming up here in moments. But first, from hotair.com. Now, Hot Air is as I understand it, a conservative blog.
Okay.
That's my understanding. Michelle Malkin, who I believe is a
sounds conservative, yeah.
Commentator. So that'll give you, the understanding of where this particular article's viewpoint is coming from on this. Headline: The National Blue Alert Network is coming online. With all of the dismal news sucking the air out of the news cycle these days, it's worth taking a moment to note when something good actually happens. Most of you are probably familiar with the Amber Alert systems in place around the nation. This surprisingly effective program rapidly disseminates information about missing and or endangered children in hopes of having the public help locate them before they disappear entirely. And, that doesn't seem like a terrible idea, right? Who would be against helping find a missing child, right? That seems to be a popular idea.
It always kind of concerns me that I get these alerts on my phone. It's
you?
You don't?
No, I turn all that crap off.
There's probably a way to turn it off. I just never did it.
How often do they come through?
Oh, like
pretty
once a
rarely.
Month or
okay.
I get them like once a year.
Yeah, just rarely enough that you're like you have no idea what, and it looks so different than
it
a
sounds
text
horrible.
or
It sounds like an air raid.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the whole thing's jarring, and strangely, I have no information about these people's children. Right? Like this is irrelevant to me.
Wait, don't they tell you about the child in the Amber Alert?
Well, right, but it's like 3-year-old boy, 50 pounds or however much.
So like every 3-year-old
weighs,
looks
like
the same.
Brown hair, green eyes. Like okay.
They don't say like what vehicle they might be in or anything else.
How much time do I spend on the road?
Yeah, I don't know, Mark,
like 20 minutes a day.
But I mean, in theory, if these messages are going out to a lot of people, then the chances that somebody's going to see something is increased.
It probably works better in some areas than others, and I'm assuming it just works better based on what information you do have. Like if you have the plate numbers, that probably works better than if it's just like generic description of small child. Like, okay.
So now, in addition to the Amber Alert Network, according to Hot Air, this week the Justice Department announced the launch of a similar national initiative designed to identify suspects who attack police officers and rapidly track them down in a similar fashion. Rather than Amber, this one is known as the National Blue Alert Network. From the Justice Department's press release, quote, the Justice Department, along with the FCC and Department of Homeland Security, today announced the nationwide rollout of the National Blue Alert Network, including newly developed deliverables and federal interagency cooperation to enhance the safety and support of America's law enforcement officers.
Okay, so this is not something you could sign up for to like possibly offer help to these people.
No, they're going to cram this down.
This is an inter-system.
No, they're going to cram this down on you.
Oh, so I'll just get alerts on my phone
You're
of people
get cop
who I
alerts.
should like pull in front of if there's a cop behind me to help him out? Like that's what's going to happen?
Well, you wouldn't do that, right?
You said it was people targeting, it was alerts of people targeting cops.
Yeah.
So, like, if I get the plate number of some guy who's targeting cops and I happen to be driving in the road and there's a cop back there and I, like, deliberately drive behind this guy as to obstruct his plate number.
I thought you were going to pull it. I thought you said pull in front of him. I'm sorry. Maybe I misheard you. I thought you were going to pull in front of the guy so the cops would see him. Okay, so, yeah.
Or something like that. Offer assistance in some way.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing is they're putting the alert out to let people know.
This is a horrible plan on their ends.
Well, what's the drawback for them?
People like me. And people like me who are less cowardly.
No, there are very, very few people like you.
The National Blue Alert Network, under the implementation by the Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services, which is an acronym that is COPS. The National Blue Alert Network promotes a rapid dissemination of information to law enforcement, the media, and the public about violent offenders who have killed, seriously injured, or pose an imminent threat to law enforcement, or when an officer is missing in connection with official duties.
Yeah, see, I hope that they realize that there are now going to be people trying to get on this.
So they can find out when somebody's wanted for going after a cop?
No, like, I'm not saying this is the most intelligent idea ever, but they already kind of have this. I mean, some places where it's like, if you get on the news or if you it's kind of the inverse of the social value that's usually placed on that sort of thing.
You're saying they want the 5 minutes of fame. You're saying that somebody would want to kill a cop so they could get a blue alert sent about them?
I don't know that anybody's going to kill a cop just to get a blue alert about them.
But that's what you're kind of suggesting?
Well, it's because it's not just for killing cops, but this is just a trophy that I don't think that they want to put on their head. I mean, if I mean, but again,
What you're
the
saying is
system
somebody
cares less about cops than I do.
Whether it was whether it was the killing of the cop, they say here, killed, seriously injured, or pose an imminent threat. So whether it's one of those three, you're saying that there's a certain type of criminal out there who would be
there's
elated.
places where that's going to get you some street cred. That's kind of just the fact of the matter.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Whether I like it or not, that's the case.
So now, in all likelihood, if this occurred somewhere in my immediate vicinity, I'm going to get it on my Minotaur, which is my fire department beeper.
You get the Amber
thing.
Alerts on that too?
No, I get I know before you do when something's bad has happened in at least in my town.
Mm-hmm.
And
but if you're not getting Amber Alerts on it, why would you get the blue alerts on it?
I wouldn't get the blue alert. I'm going to get the information before the blue alert. If somebody needs medical attention,
right,
or they're or something's on fire, I get that information. Right?
Sure,
like that's part of the volunteer fire department thing. So
if the cop's dead, he doesn't need medical attention.
Well, I mean, you
it doesn't mean they're not going to give it to him.
Okay,
sure.
If the cop's dead, I got that information, Ian.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, I'm trying to tell you.
So you get info about all the police shootings, is what you're saying.
There's no police shootings in my town.
No, that's true.
Okay? The cops...
Barely police shootings anywhere.
Okay? They don't get shot. They don't shoot anybody in our town. So, but anyway, I'm just saying that I get this information anyway, and I would absolutely rush to anyone's aid who was in, sort of the immediate vicinity of my house. It wouldn't matter whether, what particular badge they had on.
Well, I don't think they're going to be... I understand you're talking about the information you receive, which would be different from what would be in one of these blue alerts. I don't think they're going to give the location of where the injured cop is over the blue alert. They're going to try to give out information about the suspect over the blue alert.
Yeah, they're probably smarter than that.
So there's a little bit more here about this story, and I'll get into that coming up here in a moment, but... So they're going to send out these alerts. You're saying this, Melanie, that you believe that this will be a trophy, basically.
It's going to help them in some areas, and it's going to help them in the suburbs. It's going to not help them other places. Not all other places, but some other places. There are people who are going to go help the cops, and I don't know how this isn't obvious to pretty much everybody. Like, yeah, there are people who are going to want that street cred.
So one of the biggest...
The state, pretty much says, this person, a threat to cops. Like, yeah, that's something that people, especially people with nothing to lose, they're going to go after that.
Now, I think one of the concerns I have here, just besides the general ickiness and the idea that police are so important, they get their own alert.
Right. Like, there's no alert for civilians shot, and here's the information on the guy.
Oh yeah, there is. Shooter. It's Cell 411.
Well,
yeah, we're talking about an official system here, but I get what you're saying.
Go get the app at getcell411.com.
Yeah, Cell 411 is a great decentralized emergency alerts app. It's fantastic. But the other thing here is the person who shot the cop, in the moment, you don't always know who that person is. So if some cop just got shot and they believe they know who did it, which is, again, rare in the moment of that circumstance happening, they could very well be wrong about that, and then they're putting out information about somebody who didn't have anything to do with it. What happens when... we know it's already dangerous enough because when the cops show up, they're going to blast away this person in a lot of cases. But now you've got other people who might want to go and, be a vigilante for the police, basically. Be part of the police posse.
Which is a weird position. I'm going to act illegally because cops.
It's Free Talk Live. Hour 2 on the way.
Bitcoin.com is of the opinion that the current Bitcoin core development team is not taking satisfactory steps to ensure the growth and advancement of Bitcoin in accordance with Satoshi's vision. As community efforts to resolve these problems have failed, it is necessary to resolve them with a different approach. By using subreddit r/BTC instead of r/Bitcoin and running Bitcoin Unlimited, you are casting a vote against the current development team. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
I've discovered the next big thing on the internet. Symbi.com is a symbiotic economy with its own currency where people trade services virtually and locally. Forget the old economy. This is your economy. Symbi.com is slick to use and is backed by the same people that helped launch Reddit and Airbnb. I'm not kidding when I say this is the next big thing. Trust me. Go get an account at Symbi.com. Take a look around and post your services. Symbi, SIMBI.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, May 22nd, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.01 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,258 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,125. Antiwar.com reports at the beginning of the month the Iraqi officials were bragging about their substantial military gains against the Islamic State, saying the Islamic State held less than 10% of the old city area of Mosul, which is about 30 square kilometers in size. On Sunday, Iraqi special forces declared their mission accomplished, noting the Islamic State now controls only 8 square kilometers of the old city, which is more than 25%. This has been a recurring problem for Iraq, which has been anticipating declaring outright victory over the Islamic State in Mosul since December of last year, and keeps projecting the end of the month every time a new month starts, and the Islamic State still remains in the city. Special forces said their mission was to take the last western districts in Mosul away from the Islamic State, and they believe they've done so despite the Islamic State still having substantial territory in the western half of the city. Indeed, while Iraqi claims of how much territory the Islamic State has aren't really reliable, they don't appear to be shrinking. This comes amid a soaring death toll in the old city, and the U.S. appears keen to get even more deeply involved. Speaking at the Pentagon, Defense Secretary James Mattis talked up the continued escalation of the war against the Islamic State worldwide, vowing to annihilate thousands of the Islamic State fighters in the Middle East to ensure that they are never able to return to their countries of origin. At the same time, Mattis downplayed the risk the continued escalation of the war poses to civilians, despite the soaring number of civilian deaths in recent months coinciding with previous escalations, saying that the U.S. would continue its extraordinary efforts to keep the civilian death toll low. In practice, that likely means that the Pentagon will continue to go to almost impossible lengths to publish official death tolls that are far, far lower than the actual figures. Independent groups like Air Wars regularly document civilian deaths from U.S. airstrikes at least 10 times higher than what the Pentagon puts on its official list. Mattis was largely upbeat about how great he thinks the war is going, though he conceded it isn't going to be over anytime soon and will continue to be escalated. He and other officials played up the large the Islamic State death toll and the number of cities seized from them, while largely ignoring that some of those cities were virtually destroyed in the process and huge numbers of Iraqi civilians remain displaced from their liberated homes. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports dozens of students walked out of Notre Dame University's commencement exercise on Sunday to protest a speech by Vice President Mike Pence, who warned graduates of the prestigious Catholic college school against suppressing free speech. The protesters, among the thousands of graduates and guests assembled in the university's football stadium, stood up when the Republican began his speech and streamed out of the ceremony to the jeers of some of those who remained. A few of the students had messages of protest attached to their traditional mortarboard graduation caps. One of them displayed an inverted U.S. flag, a sign of protest popularized during the Vietnam War era, and the words, "Are we great again yet?" a reference to Donald Trump's campaign slogan. In his speech at the Indiana school, Pence squarely addressed the festering controversy of what constitutes free speech on campus, an issue that has intensified at many universities since Trump's election victory last year. Organizers of the protest said they wanted to voice their objection to policies advocated by Pence as part of the Trump administration and while he was governor of Indiana, including a proposal to suspend immigration from several Muslim-majority countries that has so far been blocked in federal court. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Now, how much money will all those closeted Republican convention goers bring into the city, Marie?
A lot. The average area prostitute normally makes around $200 to $300 a week jerking off truck drivers behind the bus station.
I see.
Next week, they are expecting to make 30 times that amount sucking off secretly gay Republicans.
Wow.
You figure the fact that these delegates are so repressed and filled with self-hatred,
yes,
they tend to like the filthiest, kinkiest sex acts imaginable.
Oh, that's
which
right.
Tends to cost more. The average well-adjusted gay man has no desire to smear fecal matter all over his partner's face or be beat up by him. But that is exactly the sort of thing that these repressed conservatives are willing to pay top dollar for.
Okay, as well as the services of transsexuals, I understand.
Yes. A lot of the Republicans repeatedly call the prostitutes faggots or start crying after they've had sex with them.
I suppose the prostitutes are shoring up on their politics so they can talk to the Republicans.
Ha ha, Andrea, what do you think this is, Pretty Woman? They're just there to get right.
Thank you, Marie Byron.
RNC's always a good time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. You can dial in toll free. Why was a cop's rape conviction overturned? Melanie's going to tell us about that coming up here in moments, and you can take control of the airwaves. 855-450 free like freedom. Ian, Melanie, and Mark in the studio tonight. We had just started talking about the blue alerts that are being proposed. There's a blue alert network or system that is being implemented by the FCC and Department of Homeland Security, as well as the Justice Department, that will alert presumably you if you have a smartphone or something like that, because they're talking about it in the context of the yellow or the amber alert system, which many people receive those alerts on their phone. I do not, thank goodness. Although I got a new phone here, so I don't know if I've turned that option off yet.
Yeah, you have to turn it off for it to not be there.
So, but yeah, generally when one of those things pops up, I always just go and set the options off on that. But you can't turn off the presidential alerts, which is another thing. So there's like different categories when you go to you look at the settings. Mm-hmm. So there's like the amber alerts, there's I don't know, whatever, weather, I don't remember what they all are, but one of them is presidential alerts, which, you know, it's maybe no one's told Donald Trump about this yet. I mean, given how Donald Trump loves Twitter, right?
I'm surprised he just isn't tweeting the hell out of
the
presidential alerts.
We should consider ourselves lucky that we're not getting hammered with Donald Trump tweets throughout the day on our smartphones due to the presidential alert system. But anyway, they are talking about...
I will hire a hacker. Like, I don't even care.
Traffic in Riyadh. Crazy.
And I probably
ridiculous.
can hire a hacker for that.
So, anyway, now they're going to do a blue alert system, which will be apparently named after two fallen New York City Police Department officers who were ambushed in December of 2014, Rafael Ramos and Wenijan Liu. National Blue Alert Act was signed into law in May of 2015, and the COPS office, the Community-Oriented Policing Services was selected to implement the act in September 2016 and has partnered with the other agencies, including FEMA and the FCC, to establish enhanced communication systems, guidelines, and resources. So again, they're intending to send out alerts when a police officer has been injured or killed or is under some sort of grave harm, or when
and just strategically, that just sounds awful. I mean, because we have like Telegram and stuff, but we don't make those cells public.
Telegram. Oh, right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But this isn't going to give exact information as far as like where the downed officer is. This is going to give information presumably on their suspect, which of course will put whoever that person is in even graver danger. I mean, already if you're the suspect, as somebody, if a cop gets shot and they put out they put out a description of you, Melanie, which of course you wouldn't actually shoot a cop necessarily, unless it was in self-defense, which you might do it then. But if a cop gets shot, and
nobody would believe that. Nobody would believe that I wouldn't shoot a cop, at least not without having a chance to think about it. So if that happens, I'm screwed.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if you didn't shoot the cop, but they put out a description of you anyway, I mean, it's going to be hard to survive that just from the cops who find you, because usually when the cops go after somebody who is a wanted cop shooter or an alleged cop shooter, they just go ahead and kill that person on the spot. And then, of course, they're completely justified later on in whatever investigations happen. And so now you're going to have possible vigilantes out there, these blue badge supporters who want to be cops, but they're not actually cops, but they worship the police. Now they're going to be going out hunting around for these suspects, and that could, increase the danger on that person. And again, if you're innocent and you've got a pack of cops hunting you down and a bunch of other people hunting you down, the odds that somebody's going to make a mistake and shoot you is much higher, in my opinion.
Yeah, seems likely. Plus, I mean, it does bear mentioning that you are supposed to be considered innocent until proven guilty in this country.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. And I don't think that this system is going to help that.
See, what's going to happen, it's going to get civilians killed because they're going to try to help. I guess then at that point they're not technically civilians, but
they're posse.
So they're going to try to help, and they're not trained at all. Not that cops are trained like they need to be, but they're not trained even a little bit. Their training comes from watching TV, and so they think that that's good, military strategy. And then they're going to get themselves killed.
Or they'll get hurt.
And then it's going to cost some police department $20 million or whatever.
Why would it cost the department?
Because the family's going to sue them.
Yeah, but they're not going to be liable for the actions of the person.
They're going to have to pay the lawyer. It doesn't matter. It's going to cost them something.
I see what you're saying, but they have lawyers on staff and they have insurance for, covering things like that. I mean, the family's not going to have they're not going to have standing, to sue.
It depends on how it goes down.
Because every one of these notices is going to go out. I'm sure it's going to have a standard disclaimer attached to it. If you see this person, do not engage. You need to call the local police department. Call, dial 911. If you see this person, do not engage. Right? They're going to make it clear that you're not supposed to go after the person. So they'll have their butts covered legally.
But people are going to want to be heroes. People want to be heroes. People want to help.
Well, okay, so if they do that, I mean, then depending on what jurisdiction you're in, then generally speaking, they'll probably be okay. And at that point, if the person who is kind of in charge of, it's not really security if it's cops, but security type activities is telling you to stand down, then what you need to do is stand down, especially if you're untrained quasi-civilian. But it just seems like a bad idea with no plus sides to them.
The whole thing, the blue alert thing. Yeah, I agree. This is just pure police worship right here. The idea that the police, they're having such a tough time finding these, cop killers or these wanted cop killers. It seems to me like they usually get their man, don't they? Because they put, whether it's the right man or not, they get somebody that they collar for this stuff.
Sun God doesn't care what human sacrifice he gets.
That's what I'm saying. They get somebody to put on the altar here in any one of these circumstances because they focus 100% of their police resources on finding that person. So if you want to rob a bank, it's always a good time to do it when they're going after. I'm not suggesting you should rob a bank. That would be a bad thing to do. But if you wanted to commit some sort of crime, the best time to do it is when they're looking for somebody who's off the cop.
If you wanted to smoke a joint, it would be a good time.
Well, anytime, whatever
Any
it is.
victimless crime.
Any crime whatsoever, because the cops are all going to be looking for the cop killer. But the other aspect of this is if you do have somebody going out there trying to be a hero, trying to arrest or stop or hold at gunpoint the person who's the alleged suspect in these cases, and they do something to that person, let's say they rough them up, they hurt them, or they even kill that person, they kill the suspect, well, then the cops are going to arrest them. The cops are then going to arrest their supporter who came out.
Well, in some places, civilians can enact arrests.
Yeah, they can, but there's probably some very strict rules about how they can enact that arrest, right? Like, they're probably not going to legally be able to bash somebody's head into the curb or something like that.
Yeah, no,
right?
you don't get full cop immunity.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to have, like, if they blast this person and they don't have video footage of it, I mean, you've got a dead body on your hand now, on your hands, and you're not a cop. You're not going to get the same "we're going to look the other way" investigation. The level of requirements that you'll have to meet to get away from that scot-free is going to be much higher than if you were wearing a badge. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, like, best case scenario, it just seems like a bunch of bad PR for their civilians. Because either you don't get a lot of alerts, and then it makes it look like you're not a target because you're not, or you get alerts, and then people act on them because people are weird, and then you get your own civilians hurt, and that makes you look bad. So why do this?
Well, let me ask you this, Ian. Though, so say I see the bad guy, right, or the subject, and I want to be a hero.
Yep.
I get my gun. I'm ready. I've got it hidden in my holster or whatever, and I'm like, telling the guy to calm down or whatever.
But of course you don't have a gun because you're a felon. But you're saying in theory,
imaginary.
Yeah, go ahead.
I could just go ahead and shoot him at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, all I have to do is say he reached for his waistband, right?
Yeah, but they're not going to give you the same kind of sway.
You're not going to get full cop immunity, but you're going to get like some.
You might get some. You might get some favor from them, but they're going to put you in handcuffs. You're going to probably get arrested. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Have you ever thought you'd like to flip houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? Are you ready to be your own boss so you can start living the good life? Hi, I'm Preston Ely. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity turned off 9 times, but I figured out a way to quit my job and find financial freedom in real estate. For a limited time, I want to send you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It shows you how to copy exactly what I did so you can make money from the comfort of your own home without even doing any manual labor. I've already given away 5,000 books and they're going fast. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-958-9256. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. It's short, fun to read, easy to understand, and awesome. To find out how to get your free book while supplies last, call 1-800-958-9256. Call 1-800-958-9256. 1-800-958-9256.
Are you drowning in debt? Are you struggling to make minimum payments? Did you know that on average a household with at least one credit card struggles with over $10,000 in credit card debt? If this sounds like you, know that it's not your fault. Credit card debt happens to good people. Credit card companies lure you in with low introductory rates and low minimum payments. Before you know it, you're in over your head. We've helped thousands of good people just like you become debt-free with our Debt Reset program that will dramatically reduce your debt down to a fraction of what you owe. Our Debt Reset program is customized to get you debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months with one low monthly payment. If you owe over $10,000 in credit card debt or even personal loans, call 800-912-6177. There are no upfront fees or out-of-pocket expenses. You don't pay a dime until we succeed. Call now to see how the Debt Reset program can work for you. 800-912-6177. That's 800-912-6177. Again, 800-912-6177.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you can bring up anything you want. Just dial on in, toll free here, and bring up whatever is on your mind. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And Melanie is going to be explaining to us why a cop who was convicted of rape all of a sudden got unconvicted. We're going to get into that coming up here in a little bit. Your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Mark, can you give us an update on what's going on in Uganda, where in a town called Jinja, or just outside of it, there is a orphanage being built that you and our listeners have been helping out with, and there have been matching funds available for anyone who wants to donate to this worthy cause. Tell us more. What's the latest?
Yeah, we're building walls right now. They're up to just about getting up to the second floor, so the end of the first floor, beginning of the second floor. As far as the height of the walls, I just got some updates today from Ndafuna Johnson, I don't know that he has a title necessarily, the guy who runs the orphanage there in Jinja, Uganda, and he's excited that this building's going up, and I can't wait to get those walls all the way up for the 2-story building, and then get that roof on. Getting that roof on is so important because these bricks that they make this stuff out of, are handmade. They don't get a whole bunch of, bricks like we see bricks. These bricks are made out of clay and baked and that sort of thing. And they did 60,000 of these bricks before I was willing to get my listeners involved. I wanted to see that they were serious about doing this. So you put the work in, and then I'll put the work in as far as the marketing and that sort of thing. 60,000 of these bricks. Well, it's the rainy season right now in Uganda, and these bricks can deteriorate if they're left sort of on the ground. Now they're moving them. There's concrete floors now. They're going to be better protected than they were, say, a month ago, but nonetheless, I'd like to get a roof on so that we don't have any more deterioration, even a small amount of deterioration in these bricks, and I don't want that. So please go to hope.freetalklive.com. Every dollar that you donate, one is matched by Cell 411 at getcell411.com, and the other one is matched by Jax at jaxx.io.
So basically, you're tripling your donation.
We do need to get some more money over there. I just sent them some, I think it was the end of last week, and that was to get some more mortar and some more rebar. But this building's going up quickly. There's a lot of laborers, and because it's the rainy season, they're doing less building. Laborers are available, and the building is going up very quickly. So I'd like to not stop the forward progress. So if you can, please, hope.freetalklive.com. If you donate $10, we get $30. If you donate $100, they get $300. And we'll be done very quickly if people start pitching in. And these orphans, they got nothing. They don't even have a place to sleep. Really, that's just this one big room that they're all in, head to toe, and it's terrible. So please, hope.freetalklive.com.
All right, let's continue here with your calls and thoughts. Stephen is on the line, or Stefan rather, from Ohio. Hello, Stefan.
Hey guys, how are you tonight?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Did you guys hear about the decision in North Carolina where apparently districts were being gerrymandered and the Supreme Court said they couldn't do that?
Nope, I didn't hear anything about that.
Apparently, the state had drawn out the maps for congressional districts in a way that would disadvantage black voters and give rural voters more power, apparently.
Okay.
I've heard about this kind of thing before, and I wanted to know you guys' thoughts on it.
I'm against gerrymandering.
Well, I mean, the thing is one the difficult, you can't look at a district and know whether or not.
Some you can Google it. Google image it right now.
Well, but there are some you look at and suddenly you're...
Know whether or not what? You didn't
whether or not it has been gerrymandered, whether or not it's a bad thing. Sometimes you can take, say, two disadvantaged neighborhoods, draw them together or whatever, and create one district that then actually gives representation to those people as a percentage of the population in a given state. However, you can, take those two sections that you stuck together in a weird way, make them part of two other districts, and then those people don't get the representation as a percentage of the population of that state. So it's very difficult to know what a gerrymander is and what it isn't. And the best suggestion I've ever heard for this is essentially a nonpartisan panel that draws these things up.
No, the best suggestion that there's always going to be the intent, I guess, the possibility of somebody messing with that.
Sure.
But the best that I saw
was the
was
one I'm talking about, actually.
in the election. We can't see that.
No.
So what is it that she's showing? What is it?
That is a district.
It's
Where?
a district.
I don't know, but
Florida?
that's...
I think it's major.
I think this is the one that has like 37 sides or something like that. I'm not sure what camera to...
Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, it's very thin to describe it. There's sort of like a blob, and then there's like a thin line that goes and traces around
it's like
to
a bolo.
another
There's
area.
two thick ends and one string in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, they had to connect it to keep it one district.
Yes.
Which is what they did. No, like literally, that's what they did.
It ran it along an interstate
I forgot
where
what
there are no
state
houses.
that was in because that's not particularly important. But
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
yeah, I mean, if you just Google image gerrymandering, you'll come
That's
up
the
with
one.
some really interesting.
Yep.
Well, that's one of them. You'll come up
Right.
with some really interesting shapes. This particular one was upheld.
Yes.
The one I showed them.
So why was this one ruled against? Simply because race was involved?
That appears to be what it is. That's what most people are saying.
So
They
it's
say
okay to gerrymander a
disenfranchises-
district for Democrats and Republicans, but as long as you're not breaking it down based on race.
I'm not exactly sure on the legal ramifications of it, but to me, when you look at some of these maps, you can tell that in North Carolina, especially the more populated areas like Charlotte and Raleigh, they all get one giant district, which also consumes the areas outside of it, the suburban areas, where all over the state in the empty areas, there's just tons of districts out there, even though the population doesn't make up for it.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to say that I did see something, Mark, that I think would be better, which would be software-based districting. And there was
soon the computers will rule the world. Yeah.
There was a proposal. I mean, obviously, there's going to be rules within the software that certainly someone could manipulate, but you're not going to have something like what Melanie just showed me happen with software districting. they can, put in certain parameters into the software. And I forget that there was a pitch that was being made to the New Hampshire Elections Commission. I believe they rejected this idea. So having fairly drawn districts was not something the elections division wanted, apparently. But the pitch was very good. It was very persuasive. They showed the difference between, gerrymandered districts versus what the software would come up with, and it looked very fair.
The difficulty here, another difficulty is like, how do you decide who should be represented in what way? Is it based on political party? Is it based on ethnicity? Is it based on sex? Because if it was based on sex, every woman who ever threw her hat in the ring should win, because they're 50% of the population and they're nowhere near 50% of the House of Representatives. So why don't we have more women in there? Well, that's not going to get you the best politicians if everybody who tosses their hat in the ring, or bonnet in the ring in this case, suddenly gets elected.
What does who's running for office have to do with the gerrymandering?
I'm just talking about how you would decide who would get
advantage.
Yeah,
Stefan, if you have more, hang on. We'll continue. 855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
The 300 Blackout is an incredible rifle, and Infidel Body Armor is giving one away in just a few days. Go to infidelbodyarmor.com/win to enter. Hi, I'm Chad, the owner of Infidel Body Armor. I want you to be prepared. So not only am I giving away a rifle, I'm offering sweet deals on armor, smoke grenades, night vision, and other gear you need to survive the coming collapse. Go to infidelbodyarmor.com/win to enter.
Do you know what's lurking in your water? More than 200 contaminants could be sitting there, just waiting for your glass. With a ProPure water filter, start enjoying clean and great-tasting water today. ProPure filters, independently tested, latest water filter technology. ProPure systems do not require electricity and are easy to set up and easy to use. To find out more, visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp, is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those 2 tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. Breaking news, apparently. I don't know when this went down, but at some point, I guess it was last night? Maybe by last night they mean tonight, because right now in Manchester, UK, in the United Kingdom, it is past midnight. So maybe it was like in the evening in Manchester. Anyway, headline right now apparently involves at least 19 dead at a concert by the musical artist Ariana Grande. So I don't know any of the details on that. I literally just saw it seconds before we came back on the air. So possible terror strike. It's being described as a nail bomb, as in like nails attached to an explosive device for extra carnage, I suppose.
So like the Unabomber did.
Did he do that? I don't remember.
Yeah, he did nail bombs.
All right. So the toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. If we can learn more about that, we'll bring you a little bit more information coming up. It's Ian, Melanie, and Mark in the studio tonight. And come on out if you're in New England to see the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at a baseball game. They're going to be at the New Hampshire Fisher Cats game. LPNH will be having a group outing to see the New Hampshire Fisher Cats play the current Eastern League champions Akron Rubber Ducks on Saturday, June 10th at 7:05 p.m. Fireworks will follow the game, and it's Star Wars night. The group includes seating in the new pavilion with access to a private portion of the bar, because you know libertarians love their bars, and all-you-can-eat buffet. Tickets are $40, and they need to be purchased by... Why am I sharing this, Mark? Apparently the tickets needed to be purchased by May 9th.
No, so, Daryl said that you could get them.
Daryl, are there tickets still available for this? Daryl says tickets are still available for this, so apparently the copy needs to be updated. You can get your tickets at lpnh.org/FTL. That's lpnh.org/FTL. Daryl's going to be there. Mark, I hear you're taking the night off from Free Talk Live, so you can go to this.
I am not.
No.
Jack didn't seem interested in a baseball game.
Really?
I tried to talk him into it. Just wasn't interested.
Has he ever been to a baseball game before?
No.
Okay.
And, couldn't make it happen. So
he's more of a video gamer, huh?
My thought is that Daryl can probably best use the tickets that I was to have to fundraise for the LPNH, which is what this is for.
Right. Oh, he was going to comp you on the tickets.
Rather than dragging my son kicking and screaming to a game.
Yeah, nobody wants a brat at a game who doesn't want to be there.
So there you go.
I don't mean to call Jack a brat, but if he was going to be bratty, then he would be a brat in that case.
At that point, right?
Right.
So
he's normally very well behaved. Your son is.
Yeah. Well, places he wants to be.
So yeah, you get to go hang out with Daryl and the rest of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, what is arguably the most successful Libertarian Party in the entire United States, what with now 2 state representatives. Daryl, are any of the state reps going to be there? No, we're being told that maybe the state reps are going to be there, so 2 of them in New Hampshire. That's 2 more than every other state in the entire United States combined. There is 1 state, Nebraska, that has a state senator who's a Libertarian, but New Hampshire has 2 state representatives, one a former Republican, the other a former Democrat. Good chance you'll get to meet at least one of them there, and who knows? Who knows who else will be attending that? It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I kind of wish I could go, even though I don't really much care for baseball. It sounds like it would be a good time. Anyway, lpnh.org/FTL. Let's go back to Stephen in Ohio. You're calling about a court case which we have not, none of us in the studio were aware of it, but it's apparently pretty breaking, fresh news.
Well, it is because they tend to uphold gerrymandering pretty much always.
Right, and so what they're saying here apparently is that they've ruled against this particular instance of gerrymandering because they believe it was done on a racial basis. And Mark, you had asked the question before, or you were talking before we went away to the break about, well, how do you decide who gets the advantage in these situations? Usually, when gerrymandering happens, it has to do with political parties, not race. And so, in this case, they might have broken down a racial area, expecting that the people in that area are going to be more likely members of, let's say, the Democrats.
It's a safe bet that blacks are going to more likely to vote Democrat, right? And probably in North Carolina, it's a safe bet that whites are more likely to vote Republican. Just a guess.
What do you think, Stefan?
I took a look at the map they tried to draw up, and it took a smaller area out of the 12th district. I sent a photo in Skype. That was the current design. They were going to redraw it so a part of District 12 on the left was going to be a tiny little squiggle line. And that would have been the only representation that people in Charlotte would have gotten, for example.
Okay.
And if you take a look at that map, you'll notice that urban and rural areas don't necessarily have voting together, it looks like. It seems like the urban areas are kind of put out from the rural areas, and I feel like maybe that might give the more rural areas an advantage because they have more representatives they can choose from.
When you say the urban areas are put out, what does that mean?
You'll notice that the
Keep in mind our listeners are not looking at this map, so.
Okay, so if they'd like to, they can probably Google it. But, around Raleigh and Charlotte, for example, they're
this
closed
is North Carolina?
Yes.
Okay.
They're closed off from the rest of the, outer areas of the state. And it seems to me that might be to keep the urban vote out.
Well, I mean, they have to do it by population, right? So,
I assume so.
That's why
they don't.
No?
Well, they draw the lines wherever the hell they draw the lines in order to get the results they want to get. And
they don't divvy them up relatively equally by population?
They don't have to.
Okay. I don't know how it works everywhere.
This is not how districting works. Districting is when you draw a circle around your people, and then the other guy draws a circle around his people, and whatever shape that ends up being.
So it has nothing to do with, they don't have to reach a certain total of, okay.
Nope.
Okay, so in New Hampshire, every 10 years, that's on the 10 years, so 2010, 2020, 2030, they draw up a new sort of districting map to bring things up to date or whatever, and basically the party who's in charge gets to vote on it, gets to vote it in. It's a simple majority, goes through, and
they try to screw the other party.
Right, that's exactly what they try to do. This is a game on how you can steal, as many reps as you possibly can from the other party, and whoever's in charge has this distinct advantage over the other party at that point.
We only pretend to have democracy. Tennessee at one point divided the state into 3 equal thirds of landmass, and the Supreme Court said that was okay because Tennessee's argument was that it was easier. That was literally Tennessee's argument, but it's easier, and the Supreme Court was like, okay.
No, easier is a way to decide.
To me, it all like New England, not New England. What? Maine and Nebraska, for example. When I look at those two states, it seems like their districts are drawn fair. The Portland area in Maine on the bottom is its own little district, but up above in the outer areas, it gets its own. Whereas in Nebraska, for example, when you get down to Omaha and such like that, they get their own district as well. It seems to me that aren't those the only 2 states that divvy up electoral votes that way?
Hell if I know.
Have you ever heard about
You picked the wrong night to call about
this.
this.
Was it Maine and Nebraska?
Nebraska.
Yeah, those are the
If
2.
you want to talk about voting in detail, then you really ought to call on a night that Daryl is hosting the show.
On Thursday.
He would know Thursday or Friday. He's doing Fridays as well, but he would know the answer to all. I mean, I believe that he would know the answer to all these questions. The man is a walking compendium of elections knowledge, and I thank you for the call tonight, Stefan. Appreciate it. That's a nice thing about Free Talk Live. We got different hosts with different levels of expertise on different things. So Melanie's here tonight. She's more of a legal eagle, and Mark and I, we don't really know much about anything. We're talk show hosts.
The only thing I've ever heard of them telling a state that it can't do is there was at least one state who wanted to say, okay, we're going to have only one district, we're going to have however many reps we have, but everybody gets to vote on them, and the Supreme Court told them they couldn't do that. That's one of the only things I'm aware of. It's the only thing I can remember that where they were not allowed to do something.
Coming up, the cop whose rape conviction was overturned. Melanie's going to tell us about that story on the way. Our toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. Maybe we'll learn more about what's happened out at the concert in Manchester, England. This is Free Talk Live.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching, I would recommend Dynovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a big tube of Doggo Suds free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Suds shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds.
Free this week at Dynovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynovite. Dynovite for life.
DINOVITE.com. When I get to about 3/4,
When I get down to the bottom,
a couple more scoops,
it's time to place my order.
Dynovite.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a big tube of Doggo Suds free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Suds shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds.
Free this week at Dynovite.com.
If it's working, don't quit. DINOVITE.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-765-9681 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-765-9681. Again, that's 800-765-9681.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free and take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. With you tonight in the studio, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
All right, so We can talk about what's going on in the UK here in a little bit, but I want to make sure we get this cop story out. Because, Melanie, you wanted to tell us about a police officer who was convicted for rape and had that overturned.
Right, so he was convicted of raping one of the inmates. He was a cop in
Wow,
Belknap
raping an inmate.
County.
I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. So this happened as he was...
Is this a corrections officer or a police officer?
It says he's a deputy sheriff.
Okay.
So it's probably not a prison inmate, but a county jail inmate.
Okay.
So, and I guess there was someone else driving at the time because this happened while she was being transported and he was the one in charge of her, I guess. So the conviction got overturned today because the state Supreme Court found that there is not sufficient evidence that he was a correctional officer.
And that has what to do with whether or not he raped this lady?
Because New Hampshire, like in a lot of other states, basically has a law that says if you're a cop, you're not allowed to bang the inmates.
Okay.
Basically because...
Yeah, that's generally a bad policy.
Right. Basically because there's kind of inherent coercion there.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
Like they can't...
And your parts could itch afterwards.
Yeah, well, that might make it a bad idea, not necessarily a reason to make it illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you can't, like they're not confident enough to say that there wasn't coercion. So basically, they're saying that the inmates can't consent to sex with their slave drivers.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So the way this statute reads in New Hampshire...
Wait, this was New Hampshire where this
yes.
happened? Oh, okay.
So if the offender is in a position of authority over the victim, either in an incarceration facility or as a probation officer, and uses that authority to coerce the victim to submit. So the defense's argument was that he did not work at the jail. He was just a cop who happened to be transporting inmates. I'm not sure how consensual that really can be. If, like, people who just met in the van on the way there.
Right, and she presumably, given that it's a rape charge, is agreeing with the charge. She's not saying, oh, I consented to this.
It doesn't say in any of the stories I could find what her position on that was, but...
I mean, it's certainly true. It's certainly true that the police can bring a charge without the consent of the victim. That's definitely something they can do. But it's going to be a little difficult to bring a rape case if the victim is saying they
cooperating.
consented.
Yeah. Or not even. Well, if she gets on the stand and says she consented, it's still rape. If she...
That's what they're saying. If it was a corrections officer, that it would still be rape. But the argument here is because he was not a corrections officer that it wasn't rape if she consented.
So, like, yes, he's banging his prisoners in the back of the van, but it's cool because he's not really a cop.
Or not really a corrections officer. He's really a cop, is what they're saying.
Seems to me he was acting like a corrections officer when you're transporting prisoners.
Right.
But all she would have had to do
That is
was
a fine line there.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like somebody reported it. I mean, I don't know that she reported it, but it seems to me like she would have had to have been at least going along with it, because all she had to say was, I never banged the dude, and then this goes away.
Right, yeah.
So...
Was this the Supreme Court?
The state Supreme Court, yeah.
State Supreme Court. Wow. Fascinating stuff. I don't know if you feel like I know you're one of the bloggers over at freekeen.com. That might make for an interesting post.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide whether or not how I can can an inmate consent to sex with an officer, and I can.
I think that they can, but my presumption would be that any particular instance was not consensual. I would kind of just reverse the presumption in that case, and I would need a lot to overcome it. Because for you to say, yeah, I was totally holding this person here by gunpoint, I totally was keeping them here against their will, but the sex part was consensual. Those don't go together real well.
So I spent 8.5 years in prison, and
in Florida,
and I can say that that there were certainly some instances where inmates had sex with staff and staff had sex with inmates. I would say that under one.
Did you see that happen, or is it just?
Oh yeah, I got to see the sex happen.
Or rumor.
I talked to people that were involved. People got fired. Yes,
wow, okay.
It happened. Absolutely happened. I had a roommate who was moved from one prison to another because of it. His claim was that he was knocking on her back door while she was ringing the doorbell, if you get my drift. So, these things happen. And I would say in 100% of the circumstances that I heard about, that it was completely consensual. However, I imagine these laws weren't written for male inmates.
I would imagine that they were not written for male inmates with female guards. I will go that far.
Oh yeah, okay, I got you. I don't know of a single circumstance that occurred, a homosexual sort of sex occurred between inmates and staff. Not to say that it didn't.
Right, and I'm sure that it does, and I'm sure that it doesn't, and sometimes it's consensual, and I'm sure that there's probably people you can find that are into that, slave master thing, literally, I guess, in this case. But I feel like that is a presumption that is appropriate. And although when you write a law with the states, it becomes a presumption that you're not allowed to overcome or argue against.
Right.
But I do feel like that presumption, somebody tells me, yes, I was totally kidnapping this person. I totally said they were not free to leave. And then I asked them if they wanted to sleep with me, but it's okay because they said yes. While I had a gun to their head. That's kind of the situation. So I would need a whole lot of convincing to say that that wasn't the situation.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Sure. I think it should be the presumption should be otherwise as far as the consent goes in that circumstance.
Yeah, and it's not even I think that you can overcome that. Although the easier route is to just, to me, that's a weird, where your mental state has to be. I can't even comprehend because you hate these people enough to hold them captive.
Well,
but
you can't do
are
anything
okay
about
with
it.
Sleeping with them.
No. You can't do anything as a single staff member when it comes to a prison or a jail or whatever. You can't do anything to free an inmate. And if you were successful, you yourself are going to prison.
Right, but you still don't have to be the one keeping them there. So
you would simply quit. Yeah. And many of these people are trying to in the case of officers, are trying to work their way up to police officer, which is a cushier gig than being a jail officer. And in the case of state correctional officers, they often put these prisons in the most economically depressed areas of the state. So you have people that are basically taking the best job they can get in a geographic area. In many cases, it warps them. They'd see so much tragedy and deal with such awful people that they then themselves have a difficult time not being awful. But it's the whole thing is difficult. But I wouldn't say that the correctional officer has the ability to free anybody.
It's just weird because it's like there's somebody who you're okay with keeping prisoner, but also who you want to sleep with. I don't comprehend that. I'm also tempted to make fun of it make fun of them for not being able to.
He's not in love with this woman.
I understand
right?
that.
He's using her for sexual favors. And she was using him for something. I pulled up an older story about this. So let me give you a little bit more detail on this. But my first question is at the end of the current story that I was looking at, the Concord Monitor had a little piece about this. It says this guy's serving 10 to 20 years in Maine State Prison. Did they pay the state of Maine to take this guy in as a prisoner so he wouldn't have to go into the prison in New Hampshire where he might encounter some of the very people that he helped lock up? Yep. Why else would he be in Maine State Prison when this was a New Hampshire case?
That would probably be the reason.
I thought that the woman was in Maine State Prison.
I'm sorry. I thought you said this was a New Hampshire State court decision, right?
Yes.
So
that
he was
doesn't mean
transporting.
She's not in Maine for some other reason, and that she's not being that doesn't mean she's not being transported.
But why
from New
would
Hampshire to
he
Maine.
be in Maine? He's in prison in Maine.
I don't know.
I think that's
a good chance that
it's to protect him.
Yeah.
I think it's a protection because he's a cop. More coming up here, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this story, because what was the deal, the alleged deal between these two? There's details here about that. Hour 3's on the way. It's Free Talk Live.
Everyone has something in their lives or just about themselves that they want to change, from trying to lose weight to becoming more motivated at work. Change is difficult, but the good news is no matter what, you don't have to go through it alone. Hypnotherapy can help you remove negative subconscious thoughts that keep you from achieving your goals. Never rely on just willpower again. Contact us at afterhourshypnotherapy.com today for your free consultation. Or contact Melvin Marsh at 678-658-8483.
Bitcoin.com recently reported Bitcoin transaction fees have increased by more than 1,200% since 2015. To many Bitcoin proponents, the current fee market is moving way too fast, making Bitcoin unusable for certain transactions. The fee market and slow confirmation times have also increased the tension concerning the block size debate. However, if there are wallets with low amounts of Bitcoin that can't cover the fees, they become virtually unspendable. Learn more at news.bitcoin.com. That's news.bitcoin.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, May 22nd, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.01 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,258 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,125. Antiwar.com reports at the beginning of the month, Iraqi officials were bragging about their substantial military gains against the Islamic State, saying the Islamic State held less than 10% of the old city area of Mosul, which is about 30 square kilometers in size. On Sunday, Iraqi special forces declared their mission accomplished, noting the Islamic State now controls only 8 square kilometers of the old city, which is more than 25%. This has been a recurring problem for Iraq, which has been anticipating declaring outright victory over the Islamic State in Mosul since December of last year, and keeps projecting the end of the month every time a new month starts and the Islamic State still remains in the city. Special forces said their mission was to take the last western districts in Mosul away from the Islamic State, and they believe they've done so despite the Islamic State still having substantial territory in the western half of the city. Indeed, while Iraqi claims of how much territory the Islamic State has aren't really reliable, they don't appear to be shrinking. This comes amid a soaring death toll in the old city, and the U.S. appears keen to get even more deeply involved. Speaking at the Pentagon, Defense Secretary James Mattis talked up the continued escalation of the war against the Islamic State worldwide, vowing to annihilate thousands of the Islamic State fighters in the Middle East to ensure that they are never able to return to their countries of origin. At the same time, Mattis downplayed the risk the continued escalation of the war poses to civilians, despite the soaring number of civilian deaths in recent months coinciding with previous escalations, saying that the U.S. would continue its extraordinary efforts to keep the civilian death toll low. In practice, that likely means that the Pentagon will continue to go to almost impossible lengths to publish official death tolls that are far, far lower than the actual figures. Independent groups like Air Wars regularly document civilian deaths from U.S. airstrikes at least 10 times higher than what the Pentagon puts on its official list. Mattis was largely upbeat about how great he thinks the war is going, though he conceded it isn't going to be over anytime soon and will continue to be escalated escalated. He and other officials played up the largely Islamic State death toll and the number of cities seized from them, while largely ignoring that some of those cities were virtually destroyed in the process and huge numbers of Iraqi civilians remained displaced from their liberated homes. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports dozens of students walked out of Notre Dame University's commencement exercise on Sunday to protest a speech by Vice President Mike Pence, who warned graduates of the prestigious Catholic college school against suppressing free speech. The protesters, among the thousands of graduates and guests assembled in the university's football stadium, stood up when the Republican began his speech and streamed out of the ceremony to the jeers of some of those who remained. A few of the students had messages of protest attached to their traditional mortarboard graduation caps. One of them displayed an inverted U.S. flag, a sign of protest popularized during the Vietnam War era, and the words, "Are we great again yet?" a reference to Donald Trump's campaign slogan. In his speech at the Indiana school, Pence squarely addressed the festering controversy of what constitutes free speech on campus, an issue that has intensified at many universities since Trump's election victory last year. Organizers of the protest said they wanted to voice their objection to policies advocated by Pence as part of the Trump administration and while he was governor of Indiana, including a proposal to suspend immigration from several Muslim-majority countries that has so far been blocked in federal court. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
North, an extremely vocal opponent of gay marriage, drew fire during his 2010 re-election campaign for saying that the legalization of gay marriage would lead to man-horse marriages. In one instance, he told the New Haven Register, quote, "It's a slippery slope. If we allow two men to marry, what's next? Men marrying horses?" But yesterday, North found himself at the center of a media firestorm when the New York Times published photos of North on what appears to be romantic outings with a horse. Gathered during the Times' 2-month investigation, the pictures show North in almost a dozen locations with the same 3-year-old mare. A former aide discovered links to numerous horse-related sites, including phillyfreaks.com and hothindquarters.com on North's work computer. The Times is accusing North of using federal funds to pay for luxurious trips, including a 3-night stay at the high-end Sueños stables in Catalonia, Spain last month. North released a statement yesterday claiming he only spent time with the horse twice while conducting research for his anti-gay marriage project.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program, and as always, you can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype, so Skype on in here at username LRN.FM. With you tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And, of course, you can bring up anything that you want. We're going to go back to the phones and back to the fun. We got Ralph in New Jersey on the line. Ralph, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, let me get right away to talking about the issue of race, because that's swirling right now with regard to President Trump, okay? And the major detractor that President Trump has within the quote-unquote congressional black caucus, primarily Al Green and Maxine Waters, okay? Don't anybody tell me there's no racial motivation in this whole obsession, fixation about Trump. But what about you, Ralph? Are you over the top about Obama.
I don't even know what you just said there.
It's it's always about character when it comes to.
It's about what? You
About
sound like you've got marbles in your mouth tonight. I can't understand a word you're saying.
It's always about character, the content of character. As far as my being critical with the quote-unquote blacks is concerned. Now, here's
No,
one
for you it's not
been-
about that at all. For you it's about treating everybody in a certain skin color as though they're the same.
Right.
That's what you do.
Then we go into
'Cause
the
you're a
hypothesis,
racist.
which is hypothetical, which is a hype, which is hyperbole, right? But that being said, do you guys know what's the latest regarding Colin Kaepernick?
The football player.
That's right.
No.
You know what's the latest with him?
No,
You
this
want me
is
to
the
update
football
you?
player who made headlines because he refused to, stand for the
Right. That's the
National
First
anthem?
Amendment right. Right. That is the First Amendment right, which was granted to him, but never granted to the firebrand conservative called Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter wasn't allowed to speak at that school in California, the UC Berkeley.
The Berkeley,
He
yeah.
wasn't-
That actually has nothing to do with the First
Are you
Amendment
kidding me?
because the government was not telling him that he had to stand. His employer was telling him that they wanted him to stand.
And
right, but the latest on Kaepernick is the NFL has now issued a blacklist or a ban on his sorry black ass, meaning no franchise would like to have anything to do with him whatsoever.
So they kicked
And,
him out, is what you're saying.
Basically, that's what it is. And he moved on in life from he's walking the walk now, than as opposed to what he was doing before, which is just talking the talk. Okay, he's walking the walk. Meaning he's finally doing something for the community, which we have been asking for.
Who's
all
doing
along.
something for the community? Kaepernick?
Yeah, Kaepernick. Right.
What's he doing now?
Well, he's reaching out to this is a USA Today piece that I'm looking at.
Huh?
The USA Today, the newspaper USA Today, with Kaepernick priorities a mess. Teams drop alleged abuser as QB. QB is
I don't want to have you read to me. It's hard enough to understand you when you talk normally. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it, Ralph. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Headline from CBS Sports, Colin Kaepernick remains out of the NFL. And depending on who you ask, it's because one of two reasons. He doesn't resemble the quarterback who had success under Jim Harbaugh in San Francisco, or his social activism is a distraction and isn't worth the trouble to the team.
And the NFL is not, their product is not football. They're heavily subsidized. You can look up who pays for most of the stadiums. Their product is not football. Their product is nationalism. So it's really not surprising at all that someone who is protesting the United States gets fired from an organization, a quasi-governmental organization,
Yeah, they have
whose sole product is nationalism.
Right, I mean, they have the damn Air Force fly over their stadiums.
Sometimes it's the Navy.
Well, they get paid for all these, whatever military branch does marches and has flags the size of football fields and whatever else they do. I mean, they're not about football. That's how they get people to show up. They're about state worship. So, yeah, the anti-state guy got fired.
Not going to work. Well, apparently the Seahawks do appear to be a team that might be interested in his services, the only team. He's waiting for his next NFL opportunity. While he does that, keeping busy with various social causes, including donating about 50 custom suits to 100 Suits for 100 Men, a nonprofit organization that helps parolees on job interviews. And the good deed didn't go unnoticed. Kevin Livingston, president of 100 Suits for 100 Men, has organized a stand-up outside of the NFL New York City headquarters as a show of solidarity with Kaepernick. He told ESPN's Michael Rothstein Monday, quote, "He stood up for us. It's only right that he took our issues in our communities and brought it to a national level and sacrificed salary and being ostracized by the NFL. It was only right that we stand up for him. I started this literally when he came to my office. I was moved. I work with parolees. People usually just want to ostracize this particular population. Me working with him on the front lines and him coming to my office, this is not the first time I've worked with him, so I thought it was only right that I stand up for him. This will take place May 24th, a couple days from now at 5 p.m., not just in Manhattan, but around the country. He said, we're not protesting. This is Livingston, the charity guy. We're not protesting. This is not anti-NFL. This is not going against the police. What we're doing exactly is we're showing solidarity to the league on behalf of Colin Kaepernick. This is nothing planned by him. This is all me, he said. So there's the latest on Colin Kaepernick, who's still in the headlines.
I'm curious about these suits. You can go to, there's suits and suit jackets available at just about every secondhand store in America because, people die and they've got suit jackets.
Or they get a new one and they want to get rid of the old one or whatever.
I don't know what they're spending on these suits. Maybe it's a reasonable sum and not that big of a deal. But, as an ex-convict, I never needed a suit, I guess, in order to make the difference. I think people would be better. Halfway houses would probably be the best thing to, give people a place to live. And, that way and then they can set up work usually at some place that's not so great. That way they can have a job, be making money, and then they can go out and start interviewing for better jobs.
This sounds expensive. These are called custom suits.
Oh, jeez.
So that would sound like it would be custom tailored, I'm just going to guess, for each man.
I don't think okay, I don't have a custom suit, and
That's expensive.
Right? Yeah, that's expensive.
That's like $1,000 or whatever, more probably.
I bet you spend more. Yeah.
All right, so there you go. There's the latest on Colin Kaepernick. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And yeah, you really can call in here on Free Talk Live and bring up whatever is on your mind. So, Mark, did you want to talk about vaccinations tonight? Was that something you wanted to discuss?
I think this is...
before you do that, I said I had a little bit more about this cop, right? So you brought in a story, Melanie, about a cop in New Hampshire, where we're doing the show from, who had his conviction for rape overturned because when he had sex with a female inmate in the back of a police van...
While she was being transported,
the Supreme Court said that, the rules that would normally apply to corrections officers not having sex with inmates don't apply to this man because he was not a corrections officer. Even though he was taking an inmate from one place to another, because he did not actually work for the Department of Corrections, he works for the Sheriff's Department, that therefore the rape conviction did not apply.
Yeah, I bet that if I go get a substitute teacher job and I'm not a real teacher and I sleep with one of the students who's 16, I bet I'm going to jail. So I'm assuming New Hampshire has that law too. A lot of states do.
With a position of power over somebody.
It's basically teachers and some staff not allowed to, even if the
It's because of the position of power.
Yeah, right. Even if the students are otherwise legal.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't think that they would make that ruling for other people that were temporarily, and I don't know, maybe they would, that were temporarily holding a position.
The toll-free number here, I'll tell you a little bit more about the case. So what actually happened, allegedly, in the back of that van? And had these two, apparently, they'd had encounters before as well. So there's more coming up here, 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-940-9829. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-940-9829. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-940-9829. That's 1-800-940-9829.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey Guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey Guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the Bigot no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial on in toll-free here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and you can Skype in at username LRN.FM. Mark wants to talk about vaccines here in a moment. We're going to do that. It's Ian, Melanie, and Mark in the studio. And, Mark, you can also tell me about Whole Food Multi-Complete.
Yeah, it's a supplement that I've been taking now for several months, and I think it's fantastic. What it is a multi. Now, it's not a multivitamin because it contains vitamins and minerals and enzymes and probiotics, bone supplements, all kinds of things that you need. 7 different categories of supplements that your body needs. Combines them in a very cost-effective system, because if you were to buy all these things separately, you'd spend probably $150 a month. Whole Food Multi-Complete, besides providing all those things for me, has fixed digestive issues that I've had. It has caused me to lose a little weight. It was really great. Just sort of surprise, you're down 14 pounds. It's awesome. Go check it out. SimplifyMySupplements.com. I highly recommend this. Just use coupon code FTL, and on your first order, you'll save 30%. You can use Bitcoin. You'll have to contact them to do Bitcoin. Can't go right through the website to do it. And if orders of $60 or more, get free shipping. SimplifyMySupplements.com. Coupon code FTL.
All right, so before we get into the vaccines, I did want to share more about this cop. Ernest Justin Blanchette is a former Belknap County Sheriff's deputy was put in prison for rape. But then that rape charge was just overturned by the New Hampshire Supreme Court, apparently. And that was a story that you brought in tonight, Melanie, to discuss. But what we didn't have was the original allegations. All we knew was there was an alleged rape that happened in the back of a police van. And that's kind of what we were going off of when we were discussing this story. But here's a little bit more information. This is from a story back when the trial was happening. So this was April of 2016. From the Concord Monitor, Ernest Justin Blanchett, former sheriff's deputy, let a female inmate smoke cigarettes and use his cell phone during transports to and from prison, quote, seemingly in exchange for sexual activity, unquote, according to court documents filed in advance of his trial this week.
Yeah, that doesn't make it better to me.
What do you mean?
So the fact that this was in exchange for not being forcibly stopped from using a cell phone and cigarettes, which is the actuality of the situation. Yeah. I don't know what she's in for. I didn't really this happens today. I didn't bother looking
He was
it up
definitely
yet.
using his authority over her in this case, right? I wasn't trying to say that to make him look better or anything like that. I was just sharing with you more about what happened. So, this was... We didn't know anything about what happened in the back of that van, so this is giving us a little bit more. Hillsborough County prosecutor Michael Zino said Blanchett's behavior culminated when he raped the woman during another transport last summer. Zino and co-prosecutor Nicole Schultz-Price said jurors should be able to learn more about the recent charges against the 36-year-old because they show a larger pattern of sexual assault. The behavior is, quote, intertwined with a charged offense because the acts were part of a single criminal episode and are evidence of coercion, they wrote, adding that the former deputy, quote, used his position of authority, his clear position of authority, to pressure her to reciprocate with sexual favors or risk retaliation, unquote. Attorneys now have to wonder, what we didn't get from the Supreme Court was, did they just overturn his conviction, or did they send it back to be prosecuted at like a different level? You know what I mean? Did they remand back to
I wouldn't
lower court?
necessarily trust a newspaper article to get that right.
We can pull
that's
up the
not
actual
what they
decision.
Do. I would have to
Yeah.
read the decision
We can
to
do
say
that.
either way.
Because I'm curious to know, because they said he's still in the state prison, so, I mean, they didn't cut him loose right away.
I did read a comment from one of the people speaking on behalf of a jail that said that, yeah, we know it got overturned. When they send us papers ordering us to do something,
We'll let
then
him
we'll
out.
do something.
I see. Attorneys are awaiting a decision before Blanchett's trial on the first of several charges opens Wednesday. Again, this is a year old. Blanchett's attorney, Brad Davis, argued the information's inadmissible because Blanchett has yet to be convicted of the charges. Blanchett remains out on bail and has pleaded not guilty to both charges in that case. A jury heard oral arguments Monday and approved two motions brought by Davis. A judge heard the oral arguments and approved two motions brought by Davis, who wants to discuss the accuser's criminal record and play a portion of a telephone conversation that she had with a friend while incarcerated, in which she reportedly says she wanted to have sex with Blanchett. Neither request was contested by prosecutors. He resigned in August after being placed on administrative leave over claims that he had sexual contact with the woman while driving her to the women's prison in Goffstown last summer. Authorities claim he drove her to an abandoned home in Bedford and had intercourse with her inside the house.
Yucky. I wish we had another term for when somebody is not able to give consent, because I can understand that there are circumstances where people are unable to give consent. And
you mean like where they're
rape.
mentally unable to?
Right. So maybe somebody's mentally not capable of doing it, or they're under the age of being able to do it, or they're an inmate and the person's an officer, or they're a student and the person's a professor, whatever it might be.
Well, it's not student and professor. It's underage students or minor student, not necessarily underage. So under 18, but not necessarily under legal age.
At my college, every professor would be fired that had sex.
Oh, yeah, right.
With a
You would
student.
totally be fired, but they would not have been prosecuted for rape.
I just want to know that. I just want a new term. I think that rape is consented to sex in the sense that it's very obvious. Others, they aren't able to give consent. I think it should be a different term. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, and they use the term rape in this article.
I wouldn't slice it that close, and I do think that it's a word that gets overused where it doesn't really apply. and maybe something else does, but for, holding down a grown woman versus going and taking a 6-year-old, those aren't different.
I gotcha, and I gotcha. It's just I think it gets difficult when you're not in this article. I don't know what to understand when they say the word rape. Does that mean that she was unable to give consent legally, or does that mean that he held her down, put his hand over her mouth? And
let me tell you more.
Go ahead.
Zino and Schultz Price said the first encounter with a woman occurred September 18th, 2014, during a trip to Aspen Dental in Tilton. She told police that he let her use his cell phone on the way there, smoked 2 cigarettes once she arrived, and then ride up front with him without handcuffs on the way back. After the appointment, she said, according to prosecutors, Blanchett began complaining about his marriage, and the inmate told him she wished she could have sex with her boyfriend. Blanchett then made an abrupt turn down a dirt driveway to the abandoned home, she said, unbuckled his duty belt, and began kissing her. The woman told police she became uncomfortable and said, "Is this really happening?" To which Blanchett allegedly replied, "It could if you want it to." She said she felt she couldn't say no. Blanchett let the woman smoke and ride without handcuffs on another transport later that year, but did not initiate sex, allegedly because of an accident delay, the prosecutors wrote. In addition to the 2 charges he faces in this case, Blanchett, now they didn't mention this in the other story, at the time when this was written, Blanchett was charged with 10 additional counts of sexual assault involving 5 inmates, authorities announced in February. And so what they were saying is they want the jury to know about those other counts, and that was what this story was about, was whether or not the jury would be informed about that. Of course, they're arguing they shouldn't be because he hadn't been convicted of those at the time of this trial. So maybe that's why he's still in prison. Maybe he got convicted on these other ones.
Yesterday, I got a call from the IRS. They say I owe them over $16,000. I don't have that kind of money.
Don't try to fight the IRS on your own. Use Coast One Financial Group and let them help you get a fresh start. If you owe at least $10,000 in back taxes, call now for a free and confidential tax debt analysis. Call Coast One now for a free consultation at 800-643-4661 now. 800-643-4661. That's 800-643-4661.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA pack technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers, and some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any tomfoolery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. And if you want to get your foot in the door with decentralized marketplaces, Agorist Hosting is now offering Open Bazaar hosting. Go to agoristhosting.com, click on the button that says Get Hosted. Agorist Hosting, that's AGORIST hosting.com.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Tipping. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin tip returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card Bitcoin tip that's easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets and spending, and returns to the tipper if unused. Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
So, I heard somebody say that 50 is the new 25. I mean, I can live with that, but isn't age just a number? I mean, if you feel good and look good, who cares about numbers anyway? I take care of myself, and, well, I use Nature's Youth RSF. From, you guessed it, Nature's Youth. Think of the money you spend on things that make you feel better for just a little bit, and then think of spending the same amount or less on something that can make you look and feel better for a lifetime. How about the facts? The ingredients in Nature's Youth RSF work naturally, providing just the right environment to support healthy HGH levels while maintaining homeostasis. RSF is non-toxic, and it doesn't contain any synthetic hormones, which can weaken your endocrine system. Simply add RSF to your sensible diet and exercise plan. You can, and will, thank me later. Forget about that aging number I mentioned and focus on the anti-aging number. 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and online at naturesyouth.com. Nature's Youth. Live your life.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free. Bring up anything you want. And take control of the airwaves. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. And the Skype username here is LRN.FM. With you in studio tonight, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
As we go to the phones, to the fun, your calls and thoughts about what you want. We got Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Hey there.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, are you with me?
We hear you now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I had telephone problems at some time, but New Mexico has been having record-breaking early and voting turnout ever since I've been here for 14 years.
What are they voting on now?
And what did you say?
Are they voting on something right now?
No, but I worked on the Obama election and the one before that, and I've always worked on making public service announcements on the radio for the big elections, governor, presidential, those elections. And we actually broke a record. We never had that much of a high voter turnout. But I only made like 50 public service announcements on the local station. So every chance they would give me, I would give the voting information, the locations, what the county clerk should have been doing, and I've been doing it for them.
So you feel like you should be the county clerk. You should get the job.
Well, the thing about it is that they don't do the job. Mm-hmm. They make sure that there is no voter turnout. They do.
Why do you think that is?
Minuscule.
Why would the county clerk want to make sure that there's no voter turnout?
But they just do enough. They would do a show from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning when everybody's at work or school, and then when we had a show about the election information. So, they act like they're doing something that they don't do enough, so that we get a bogus election. It's not a real
ask you this, Sarah.
reflection of the voting.
I kind of wondered about this myself, and I've done a little bit of research. Would you say Barack Obama was the best president historically the United States has ever had, or that there were superior presidents prior to Barack Obama?
Well, I do not know whether he's superior or inferior. I don't really know, but I think he was a pretty good president.
Okay, because one of the things that I kind of wondered is many people say George Washington was a great president, right?
I guess so.
He was elected with 2% of the electorate voting. 2% of the population voting. There was no president that was elected prior to 1926 or 28, something like that, that with more than 25% of the U.S. population voting. And that just kind of means that somehow we can, I guess, there's all these presidents in there. Many people call them great presidents, Lincoln and, I don't know, Wilson and Teddy Roosevelt and all these people they call great presidents, and they were all elected with this pretty small margin, this pretty small percentage of the population voting. Do we really need a large percentage of the population voting? Because I kind of feel like this whole let's get the vote out thing, let's get a whole bunch of people to vote, really just brings in a bunch of uninformed people to vote, people that really have no business voting. You should never ask me about brain surgery, because and if I was not a fool, I wouldn't give you an advice on brain surgery other than to ask a brain surgeon. But I can tell you that it's people think that they should have an opinion on lots of things, and you shouldn't have an opinion unless you're an expert, right?
Well, you know what? That is the very reason why people do not vote, because they do not know what they're voting for.
Good.
But that's why they stay out of it. The fact is that, like the candidates, for example, like the mayoral, they don't know what they have done. They don't know what they are doing. They don't know what they're going to do. So everybody goes, well, I don't know what I'm voting for, but they would show up for a sugar tax because they know exactly what they're voting for.
Sure, they know what they want. They know what
And I think that that's reasonable. If you put, 5 policy conglomerates of positions on the poll and you put them in Cleong, it's reasonable to not show up to vote for that, but then to show up to vote for one specific position in English, if English is what I speak. So voting for what you know and not voting for things you have no idea about and think you can't find out about whether that's true or not is not an unreasonable position.
Right. That's why there is a fewer voter turnout. But, that still is that I just want to say that I accomplished that I brought out the voter out. I broke that record here in New Mexico ever since I've been living here. Nobody bothered to
You
call
broke
the
the
radio
record.
station.
It was all you, just by making phone calls to talk radio, huh?
Well, the thing is, I'm not the only one, but I was part of the people that did get the vote out, and I used the KKOB, the local station, Saturday, Sunday morning, afternoon. I called them like 3-4 times a week.
No, the local station is Kiva, Kiva. KKOB is owned by a mega corporation. They're not a local station. Their transmitter is in Albuquerque, but the station is owned by a mega corporation. Anyway, Sarah, so what you're saying is you believe that your phone calls were instrumental in having a, record voter turnout?
Right. People just have to be reminded constantly.
What was the percentage of voters that turned out in the most recent local election?
Well, I don't know. I can't keep track, but we broke a record.
You can't keep track. Now, how do you know you broke a record if you don't know what the numbers are?
Well, they announced it on the radio news. It was on the news.
Oh,
we broke a record of the turnout this time, and they broke another record.
So it could have been they had a 10% turnout, and they went to 11%, and that broke a record?
Something like that. It could have been, yeah, that's right.
It's not really anything to write home about, is it?
Well, the thing is, I'm proud of it because I turned this state blue. You know what I mean? The people.
Okay, so now you're saying that getting more people out gets them to vote Democrat. Are you saying that therefore most of the underinformed and uninformed voters are Democrat?
Well, I don't know that this state has been blue. But
I'm asking you though. I mean, you said that people didn't vote.
She doesn't know how to answer questions.
Sarah, you said people didn't vote because they didn't know how to vote. You got more people to vote. Presumably, you didn't educate them. You just got them to vote, and therefore, and then they voted Democrat. Why do I want a whole bunch of uneducated people on the issues? And I'm not saying uneducated generally, just on the issues. Why do I want them voting? Can you explain that to me?
Well, the thing is that they have a say-so in what they need. If the majority of the population of the state is Democrat, and then somebody needs to just remind them 20 times where the polls are open now, and now you can vote, they need to be instructed how to vote by mail. That's all they need. It brings them out so that people could vote for people that will provide for their need, and that's going to represent them.
Do you think that people who need to be reminded to push a button 20 times before they do it and make good decisions?
Well, I think so. You're just helping them out. Why? What it is that they got. I mean, it's not that they're stupid. It's just they have so much going on. They're distracted.
I'm not claiming they're stupid either. I wouldn't claim that at all. I'm just claiming that there are things in this world on which I am uneducated, and that my opinion is worth crap. So if therefore if that's the case, then there are people who have an uneducated opinion when it comes to politics, and their opinion is worth crap. We should allow those people to continue to opt out of elections because their opinion is largely worthless, right? Like, you wouldn't ask.
I agree with you. It is a bunch of, I think this is dumb vote. How we voted on the sugar tax is stupid. How we voted here on the red light camera is stupid. But you know something?
It sounds like you just like people to vote your way.
Well, the thing is, the majority rules, no matter how stupid they are. And sadly enough, I have to be subjected.
It's a stupid system, isn't it?
It is. I wish it would stop.
Why don't we just get rid of this whole system, this majority rule system, and just let people live their lives as free people? Thanks for the call. Toll-free number here, 855-450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Everyone has something in their lives or just about themselves that they want to change, from trying to lose weight to becoming more motivated at work. Change is difficult, but the good news is, no matter what, you don't have to go through it alone. Hypnotherapy can help you remove negative subconscious thoughts that keep you from achieving your goals. Never rely on just willpower again. Contact us at afterhourshypnotherapy.com today for your free consultation, or contact Melvin Marsh at 678-658-8483.
Bitcoin.com is the most unique online destination in the Bitcoin universe. Buying Bitcoin? Do it here. Want to speak your mind to other Bitcoin users? Our forum is always open and censorship free at forum.bitcoin.com. There's no bigger Bitcoin believers than the Bitcoin.com team. That's why this site is a one-stop shop for everything you need to get into Bitcoin life. You can also play games at games.bitcoin.com. Learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Hey, diabetics. Yeah, you. Got a spare hour to waste going to the pharmacy to get your insulin or other meds and supplies every month? I didn't think so. Me either. I've got life going on, which is why I use PillPack. PillPack is an amazing online pharmacy. They package up all my diabetic meds and testing supplies into daily doses and send it to me every month, automatically. All I do is pay my normal copay. PillPack does the rest. I'm serious. This is a free service. They don't even charge for shipping. PillPack handles all the medical insurance stuff and even get with my doctors for my other prescriptions so I don't have to, which is good because that's the stuff I forget. But PillPack remembers everything. They even package up my daily vitamins so I remember to take them too. If you're diabetic, your meds and supplies are life and death, which means you need PillPack. Call right now for this free service. You may even qualify for $25 in free vitamins. 800-560-7310. That's 800-560-7310. Again, 800-560-7310.
According to a new report released this week by the Pew Research Center, a rising number of weak, emasculated men are working as stay-at-home dads, with a steadily increasing number of feeble, pathetic fayboys choosing to spend their days cooking, cleaning, and performing other submissive duties.
Well, our findings indicate that more and more pussified half-men are not going to work, and instead are embarrassing themselves by purchasing groceries, packing children's lunches, and denying all aspects of their masculinity on a daily basis.
The Onion spoke to one of these effete, pathetic excuses for men to get his response on the new report.
I love being able to stay home with Angela. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
What a f***ing pussy. For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free. Bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. And tonight with you, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Don't forget, you can join us online. Just head on over to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features we have on the site for you. If you like Free Talk Live and you want to help support the show, then you can go to amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com. And that allows you to get behind what we're doing by helping us advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. Get on more radio stations around the country, bring new internet listeners on board, expose new people to the ideas of freedom and liberty. And you get perks, too, like access to the AMP-only call-in lines. There's also the AMP-only podcast and more. Go get all the details and get signed up over at amp.freetalklive.com. Now, Melanie, has your website gone up yet? I know that you and Mark have been working on something behind the scenes, but I'm not sure where you're at with that.
Yes, it is. The website is up. It doesn't have a whole lot on it right now, but it's there.
And do you have contact information on it?
Yes.
What is the website?
Well, it's at text.freetalklive.com, right?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would hope that it is. Did you ask me to put it there?
Yes, I did.
Okay, well, then let's find out then. Nope, I didn't put it there, Mark,
okay.
So I'll need to
We'll link that
very
very quickly.
Yeah. To Melanie's site, which she's an accountant by trade. You may know her as a more lawyerly type, but you also are very good at helping people do the icky task of filing taxes.
Not just that, but bookkeeping too. I mean, there's the sort of legitimate thing that accountants do. They, not having to prey on, be part of the whole government's program of preying on taxpayers.
So those are things you can have Melanie help you with. And Mark, you said tax.freetalklive.com?
Yep. As a matter of fact,
give me about 10 minutes and I'll get on that.
Melanie is working with my wife to go over our taxes. And, what I feel like is that I've got somebody who shares my values. And, she's helping with taxes and she knows more than we do. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's very quickly be up at tax.freetalklive.com.
All right. So let's go back to the phones and the fun. We got Bobby in Milwaukee. Bobby, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi. Point one. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Point one. I couldn't agree more that it's really a problem that people are voting with no understanding what are the stakes or what are the alternatives. But I have no idea what you do about that. We had one. Only slave owners and landholders could do it. And, we sort of set that aside eventually.
Yeah, you can see why.
But how we solve it, I have no idea. So at some point,
I've got a solution, but
ideas.
I've got a solution, but every solution is called racist, right? So my solution is that we currently have a test for people to take in order to be able to vote. We call that test, the citizenship exam. Right? Now, granted, you only have to take the test one time, and you only have to take it if you're born outside of the United States. But why not have a 5-question test taken directly from the citizenship exam? I'm not suggesting anything weird or bizarre, just taken right from the citizenship exam. And if you can't pass with a 4 out of 5, you can vote. Your vote's just put in. They have a terminology for it, but basically it's an auxiliary vote, meaning they don't count it.
I'm unconvinced that that'll solve the problem. I mean, it sounds good that you should have some basic knowledge of civics, but it doesn't answer the problem of walking into a voting booth or tapping on the voting machine and knowing what choice you're making, not just picking names.
Oh,
because they sound familiar, or
I've done it.
Names because they're under Democrat. Your proposal in concept, I'm fine with it, but the implementation or the example you just gave, I don't think it'll solve the problem.
Well, right,
I don't know if
if
it'll
they
solve it, but it might help. Go ahead.
If they have a test, then I think that they're just going to keep making the test easier and easier. So a test is a kind of subjective thing that you can fake. I think that personally, all else being equal, which it never is, monarchy is preferable to democracy because at least you have somebody who has a vested interest and not just blowing all the not the funds, but
until
the
your king
resources.
goes mad from syphilis.
Right, and maybe you have a procedure to deal with that. But
are you trolling?
Seriously? I have heard this trotted out, and I wonder to myself. So, for instance, Liechtenstein is currently probably the freest place on the planet, and it has a prince. So it may very well be the case that she's correct. I don't think it has any momentum in modern society.
It depends on who the person is.
Is that a ceremonial, or is that? Bangkok is so over the top in love with their king, who has no effect on the operations of government bureaucrats or of politics.
But Singapore has a dictator, and it's one of the freest places in the world. However, you can
economically,
you can look at the Middle East, and they've got lots of sheiks and fiefdoms and all these sorts of things going on. Not free at all. So it gets complicated.
Well, and democracy is never really democracy. We pick and choose who gets to vote, which isn't bad per se, but it ends up that way.
Boys and girls, we don't live in a democracy. Ostensibly, we live in a we live in a republic, supposedly. But, of course, those days are gone. The practicalities are we presently live in an oligopoly that's controlled by 400 people, approximately, in the United States, who exert their power through political contributions, and the beneficiaries are largely corporate interests, multinational corporate interests, whose interests are not aligned with my own personal interests or my social interests or my community's interests. Their interests are in stockholder wealth.
I think that there's some of that, but let's not forget all the public sector unions that have a huge amount of play. I mean, one of the reasons marijuana is not legal right now is because the cops don't want it legal. So it's not just multinationals.
I'm looking at the Pareto, I think is the name of the principle, the 80-20 rule. Okay. 80% of the politicians I live in Wisconsin, it's the David Koch interests that are represented. It's just that simple. You can do the same in any state capital. You can do the same in Washington, D.C.
It's not any state capital. I can tell you that representatives in New Hampshire, where it's 400 of them, it's the largest legislative body of any state in the union. They're not getting payoffs. These people get $100 a year, or $200 every 2 years, actually.
Again, I'm speaking of the Pareto. There's no one generalized statement that I could offer you that would describe all 57. Yes, I include federated states of Micronesia and Guam and Puerto Rico and whoever else I'm forgetting. I'm saying 80% of our politicians are fully owned and operated subsidiaries of whomever is their sponsor.
Yeah,
80% sounds low. I'd say it's probably 99 point, whatever.
Okay, maybe
whatever.
It's 99. But
I'm going to go 80.
80% is a reasonable guess.
It's enough for enough for majority.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to go back to what you said about the representative republic. I mean, that's something we certainly have heard a lot. In fact, we used to talk about that on Free Talk Live a decade ago or whatever. We'd correct people. But ultimately, it seems lost, the differences between a democratic republic and a democracy, or a representative republic and a democracy. One of the ideas that makes them different is the republic's supposed to respect people's rights. Like there's those rights in the Bill of Rights.
Delegate our interests to people who will respect those interests. And those days are gone because it costs so much money to get elected.
Do you think they ever existed?
Did it ever exist? Not in its aspirational form, maybe. In terms of its implementation, probably not.
I think that's a pretty fair thing to say.
This country is not done.
It's pretty close.
Oh, it's not done yet. When can it be done? Can we just be done with it?
I mean, it's $20 trillion in debt, and its politicians are owned lock, stock, and barrel. It sounds done.
I don't worry about $20 trillion, in all honesty.
They don't worry about it either.
The real no, I'm not trying to be snide or snarky. $20 trillion is it's a little over 1 year's GDP for this country. It's just not that much. The real problem is one that, oddly enough, I think Paul Ryan has got exactly right. The unfunded liabilities that this country has for Social Security,
Medicare,
and Medicare,
pensions,
those are a real problem.
And they're coming.
Those are $150 trillion, and we've got no good way to pay them off.
Who's we?
That's a real problem.
I'm not paying it. They can go to hell as far as I'm concerned.
Right. I don't owe them $60,000.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
You promised.
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll not argue that one.
When did I promise?
No, that's us collectively.
Yeah, what did I promise?
You promised that you'll be a good citizen, and
Nope.
they promised to protect your rights.
No, they didn't.
That's a social contract.
Never had that contract.
That contract doesn't
and they
exist.
don't protect your rights.
Yeah, sorry, Bobby.
I'm
That contract, we agree with a lot of what you said, but that contract doesn't exist, and the government's own courts have ruled they don't have to protect you at all. Thank you for the call. Look up on Google, no obligation to protect, and you'll find multiple very interesting court cases. And call back anytime. Thanks for the call tonight. We're done for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow online. In the meantime, freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host